We are live. All right. What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? I'm in the house. Do you know where I am? Yeah. What's up, America? How do I do this? I used to go like, I like your mask. I don't know which one's better. Now I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers. So it's just a mask. Isn't that fun? It's fun to make believe.
I love how you still have that thing. It's so awesome.
Yeah, this is the real deal, America. The cool thing about this mask. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Sheridan, by the way.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I was about to say, hi everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro there. We have Dave Sheridan tonight on the show of Chit, Chat, and Geek Out. Thank you so much, Dave, for taking the time. I do appreciate it, and I'm excited to start chatting with you.
Well, which way I gotta fix my hat? There we go. I actually stepped on the hat in my closet. It got all bent. Look at that. Oh man, I had this. This was my little cool dentist hat. This is my dentist. He had a cool
Dentist hat? Why do you call it your dentist hat?
My dentist has merch. So, and I have merch. Doofy
Oh, okay, cool.
But we can talk about the mask.
Yeah, for sure.
Since that's on there, because I dug this out just recently, obviously, because it's the 20-year. We've been kind of celebrating the 20 years of Scary Movie here, and there's been articles and stuff, and I got them. This was the knife. There's a real knife. This is the fake knife. But I wonder if I can get where you can see those little like cracks at the top. It's about to break. It is. There is like a hairline fracture at the top of this knife from stabbing with this. When there's some real stab stuff, this thing would bend, but I don't even want to bend it because it's about to crack right there.
Yeah.
And I have the robe. And everything. I kept the whole thing. And
that's awesome.
Because it's the 20th anniversary, I decided to get it out. And then there's a guy named Tom Devlin, and I've worked with him several times. He's a makeup effects artist, and he has a horror museum called Tom Devlin's Monster Museum in Las Vegas, outside Las Vegas in Boulder City, Nevada. And so we were going to have this on display. And we did have it briefly on display, the whole thing, the knife, the gloves, the mask. And he was going to make a copy, the tongue one, the stoner tongue one.
Right.
We were able to make a copy of that because I also had a hard resin version of that, the mold that they made the mask from. So that was easy to duplicate because it was a hard resin one. But this one is soft. It's just hand poured soft latex, and it's painted. And it gets blown out there with the light, and there's blood on there from the kills and stuff.
That's awesome.
It's really delicate, and so we're now going to have to. I'm going to go to Greg Nicotero, who does effects, and he's actually an executive producer on The Walking Dead. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, of course, he's so well known.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big horror fan, but I've been a fan of Greg Nicotero for a while.
So he has a 3-dimensional laser modeler where then we can put this into a 3D printer, and he can 3D print out the hard version, which then we can do a negative on and then make the mold. So, because I know there's a lot of attempts at replicas of this, but
there is,
the one that we'll do will be, it's actually even better now that we're going to do the laser one, because you won't even be able to get, I mean, if you looked at this thing in person, you could see the hand carvings in it and stuff like that. So, this is hand painted. And then when I gave it to Tom originally at the museum, he discovered inside the mask, and I'm trying to think of where it's at on here. He found my name. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's see if I can.
Sure, Dave.
Do you see Dave right there? It gets blown out a little bit.
Wow.
And so
he said that there was only that's the main one. Like, was there a whole lot of that copy made while filming it?
No, just one other of probably each one. They probably made two, just in case if something happened and I ruined it.
Yeah.
But also it was the stunt doubles would wear it.
Yeah.
I think this was probably the only mask that they made more than one of, because
Mhm.
I did have a stunt double.
Yeah, of
In 2
course.
shots, the stunt double wanted to do more, but a lot of the stuff I wanted to do because it brought a lot of comedy to what the character was doing.
Yeah, like, did you do more like the settled stuff? Like, was the stunt people more like all the running and all that stuff? You
The
did.
only thing that a stunt guy did was running from the piano down the stairs with the old
Yeah,
lady.
I love that scene.
And they didn't have to convince me too hard to not do that, because when I saw that piano, I was like, yeah, no, because you could trip on the road. So with that, they said, why don't you go up and show us how you would run, and he'll mimic
Right.
you. So I still directed how that character
Oh,
was
that's
doing.
cool.
But the real reason why they were like, there's a no-go there, was there's another actress involved, a stunt lady, and she was legitimately old. And so you want to have a stunt person and the stunt person doing a scene when it's just
Yeah.
me doing a stunt, like the Matrix thing going back,
Yeah.
or
Breaking her back.
yeah, that thing, or when I went into the China cabinet, I can do that.
Oh, wow. So like majority, like 90% of it was you.
Yeah, the only other stunt double was going through the window, when she kicks me through the
Yeah.
window, because that's what we call a one and done, where
Right.
you roll a couple cameras and they're not going to reset a bunch of glass. You know what I mean? They just don't have time. When every movie, there's never time. We don't have time. You don't have time. But unless you're like $100,000 in a James Cameron movie or something,
Yeah.
they'll say, hey, we're doing it 3 times and get it just so right. But a one and done was like, there
Yeah.
was like explosions, there's these little poppy things. There's different ways of doing that glass stunt, but that one was a guy would break the glass with these
Mhm.
mini explosions just as the person's coming through. And so it looks, from that angle, it looks like they went through glass.
Wow. That's so
And
interesting.
yeah, and they were on like a rig where, some people might call it a decelerating cable
Yeah.
rig, but it's just a cable on a winch that will just yank the guy through the window. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, I for the longest time, I actually didn't know that you were the killer, because all the time I think people mainly think of you as Doofy, but you're also the killer. Because as I said, I didn't know that for the longest time either. So no, that's cool. Did you wish, like, was there any when you did Doofy, was there a lot of it improvised, or any scenes that kind of got deleted that you wish were still in there?
Oh, well, everything was pretty much improvised, especially with Doofy, because you got to find areas to say. Although at the same time, lines were in there, like a Gale Swallows and stuff like that. But so, like, if Sherry, that first scene with myself and Sherry or Terry, we're the ones making up stuff where she's licking my thing and how she reacts, and he's saying, "Yeah, it was good," it's big, things like that are just part of the character, and you.
Oh God, I wish we had a Doofy spin-off movie of just Doofy.
It might be coming. It might be coming. It's weird. It might just be because now it's probably a lot of things, but I think I've created a little bit more attention to Doofy with the Doofy
Yeah.
2020 running for president. And I only did that because, well, you could see what kind of cluster this whole thing's turned into from day one. But I knew this was one of these elections for the times.
Yeah.
And when you add in the type of year it was, it's like double fold. You have the craziest kind of candidates running.
I know.
I mean, they're both movie characters. One guy's senile who's wearing Depends, and the other guy is senile wearing Depends with orange hair. No, I'm just kidding. The other guy's got the guy with orange hair and a tan, and so they're kind of our cartoony, the guy that's got the deed to the ranch kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bad guys from like Smokey and the Bandit and stuff like that. So,
well, tell us more about how you started Doofy 2020. I did read the story, or watched the video about the story and how it all came about. But for the viewers that are watching right now, just a little brief summary on how it all started.
Well, how it really, and in that video, that's a long video because it is a long sort of weird pecking order of stories. Around this time last year, that's when I was like, oh, I'm going to do for 2020 at the conventions, because I do horror conventions and stuff. I'm going to print shirts. You're wearing a shirt. Show them your Devil's Reject shirt. There you
Devil's
go.
Rejects.
It did, and I got that shirt at Atlanta Days of the Dead in 2015.
I believe this was Joel Robinson. He's a really good artist.
When did you get that?
Probably like 3 years ago at a convention.
Do you know which convention?
It was in It was at, I think it was Niagara Falls Comic Con. Niagara Falls Comic Con, and Twisted Tees was selling it.
Got it. And it probably was Twisted Tees, because there's vendors at these conventions. And
of course. I love it.
I got mine for free because I'm on it.
Yeah.
That's privilege, buddy. Sorry. But yeah, and honestly, I don't wear, I'm not, I'm wearing this now, and I gave a bunch to my friends and stuff, but I have all those type of shirts, and they're just a pie. I don't want to write. They're all like time capsules to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Once this thing is going to come off, and it's going to be put away somewhere. So,
great design, by the way.
Originally, I was just going to make the shirt, sell it at conventions, but then the conventions stopped pretty much. I got to do one convention in February, and then they were all shut down, and I was shooting a movie in January, so I didn't have time. And when I came up with this, it was about this time last year, and so November and December start to turn into holidays, and things are going on. And I was probably shooting something as well. My schedule gets busy, and so I don't like to delegate very well. I'm not a very good delegator. I'm a micromanager and OCD, and every part of the shirt was like, okay, I'm going to design this shirt, and I designed it, but I had an artist draw this, huh?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I gave a guy this exact design, but I just cut out that meme, the classic one that's a meme. And that was the other thing that was like, I realized, like, my kids don't know the movie, or their friends, they don't know the movie. They're a little young.
They'll probably like it one day.
Maybe. I mean, they're about to get to the age where they probably could watch it. And but because I'm their dad, they want nothing to do with anything I'm ever in. And but it was undeniable that I'm a meme. There's doofy memes everywhere where it's like, hang in there, it's Saturday. This is my boss. This is my boss. And then when COVID hit, I saw ones where it's like, I'm essential. It was like, it was the different thing. I'm essential. There was a Proud Boys one. There was they put Mark Zuckerberg's face, and it was like the guy that runs, like running the fact checker at Facebook. You know what I mean? It was just so many of them that I'm like, wow. It's not only was he already a sort of like a popular enough meme that people have seen it at least once or twice, but then with this COVID thing, he almost became a mascot of 2020 in that regards, because he sort of represents the Dada stupid id of whatever, and so therefore we're in such a stupid year. It's fitting. It's like Year of the Doofy. You know how like there's different, like the Year of the Rat or Year of the Chicken or something like that. So So then, but I never got around to doing it. And then during sort of the first lockdown phase of April and May, my dog ended up. I think everybody might have done some spring cleaning. That's when I dug this mask out too, right around that same time. Because I was going through my junk drawer, and I was going through the attic and saying, let me thin stuff down. And I went through all my old socks, just all these non-match. That one doesn't have a match. This one doesn't have a match. Ended up with like 20 socks that didn't have matches anymore, or they had holes, or they were old. And my dog loves to eat socks, but he's never eaten any of mine. He eats my kids' socks, and he usually passes those through because they're much smaller. And it must have been too tempting. He must have saw a pile of old socks, and it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet. And he must have ate 6 or 7 of my socks. And that's the best part, was like, so they clogged up his intestines. They were all stuck in his intestines, and I was flipping out. We knew
that's horrible,
because he did throw up a few socks, and we saw they were mine. And I was rid of it. I was like, I'm taking them. I go, you better not be one of your socks.
Is he okay?
Your socks out. Huh?
Is he okay?
He's fine now.
Okay.
He's fine now, but it was, we tried to see if he could pass this stuff for 4 or 5 days, and we had him on.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, that was caught. No, it wasn't. It wasn't possible. They were giving him this stuff called barium, which is like this dark, heavy fluid that can show up on X-rays. So that could help them see the socks better, but they were actually pumping more because they were like, well, sometimes like a roto-rooter, that'll help push things through. It didn't push him. So he was basically at the point where he was getting sepsis. He was going to have blood poisoning from the bowels being backed up, you know, and his organs to die and not being able to, you know. So ultimately, like, we have to cut him open and pull the socks out. So now it was like that scene from Jaws where they cut the shark.
Yeah.
Here's a sock. Here's another sock. Here's half of a Nerf gun. Here's, you know, a paper clip. Like, he had other stuff in there. Like,
that's crazy.
I'll tell you something. If my dogs will pick up anything, you know what I mean? They don't. They're kind of like the sharks of the earth or of the land, because they only have a mouth. They have feet, but you know, they say hi with a mouth. They eat with their mouth. They attack with their mouth. They clean themselves with their mouth.
Yeah.
And then they kiss you, and they say hello to you with their mouth. And so I think they also touch things and pick things up with their mouth. And, hey, can I eat this? Can I not eat this? They want to eat socks. I don't know. Flip-flops. They love flip-flops and shoes.
Wait,
right?
is it a big dog or a small dog?
They're a medium. They're like like Australian Shepherd.
Okay.
They're an English Shepherd is the breed, but it's like a version of an Australian Shepherd. So they're medium-sized dogs. Pretty average. So, but the funny thing is, dogs love to eat. They're a predator, so they're from the wolf, right? So they're in their mind, they're always definitely scoping for food. They either sleep or get up for food. They conserve their energy, and then they're off running around and playing for food. So I realize they eat your socks, they eat your flip-flops. The reality is, dogs want to eat us. Dogs want to eat us.
Well,
they're waiting for their chance. That's all. If you sat, my father-in-law comes and sleeps, and I can see that they nibble at attack. Like, is he a corpse yet? Can we eat him? You know what I mean? I see them come up and nibble at little parts of him. You think it's cute, but really they're like, you know, they want to catch him just when he dies, so the meat's still fresh. But dogs just want to eat you. That's the reality. You think they're the best friends, but really they're looking at you going, you're going to die soon, hopefully, and I eat you. And in the meantime, I got the flavor. I've got the blood. You know how, like, when a shark tastes blood, it's like, I had your sock.
Yeah.
I had your sock. I know what you taste like. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, I've read somewhere before that, like, you know, dogs, cats, like, if say they're like have one homeowner and that homeowner like dies, they'll eat you because they're getting hungry. They need to eat.
Right. If they're stuck in the house, kind of thing. Like, yeah. Well, anything will do that. If you're hungry, I'll eat you, man. I will. There is movies like that. You see, like the airplanes crashing and all that stuff, right? We did that as a spoof in a show called Arbor Live. You mentioned Canada. It only aired up in Canada. It was on the Aboriginal People's Television Network, the APTN in Canada, called Arbor Live. And it was like the Hee Haw. It was a music variety show, but with Aboriginal people, like First Nation music mixed with, like, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue would play with Native American and would mix Native American music with rock music. And so we had, like, celebrity rockers come on, and I was kind of the pseudo director, the behind the scenes, like it was like the Muppet Show. I was the director, but I wasn't the director. And in one of our episodes, we had a thing where the van broke down, and it was only broken down, and it was in a snowstorm in Canada, and we were only broken down for like a minute. And next thing you know, I look over, and this one guy, Eric, who was hold on, I don't know how that thing went. My battery went low so fast.
Do you have a charger?
I could probably dig one up. I think we're fine. I think it said 20%. Hey, it's the way I can talk fast. We stay focused. We're going to get through this, Steve. We're going to get through this. I want to use this. I use that low battery as a way to, like, make sure that we get it done, because I'm already talking about Arbor Live. That wasn't in our questions. We said questions. It wasn't in
conversation leads to something to another.
Don't make me use this, Steven.
You know, it's pretty cool that you do the voice of that, because I didn't know that for a while either. I have a feeling that probably a lot of people didn't know that you did the voice.
Well, that's why, and we can go back to the mask really quick. We'll jump back to Arbor Live. The joke was that the guy had like a PA's foot in, like, a sandwich bun with condiments already, like, like all ready to eat the guy. It was only 5 minutes. None of us were dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We weren't starving. And the fact that there was already bread and condiments, you don't need to eat a foot on top of it.
Yeah.
But so, you talking about the voice and why one of the aspects of Scary Movie mask is different than a Scream mask is because in Scream, the mask is plastic right here. But in Scary Movie, it's a fabric mask. Let's see if I put my fingers through here. You could see that. See that?
Yeah.
This is actually, and I don't want to touch that because it's just it'd be great if I broke the whole thing right here on the.
Oh God, I hope not.
But that was originally plastic, just like the real mask, for the first day of shooting. And so this mask was actually together way more. It was.
Oh wow.
Again, I don't want to break it or whatever, but you can imagine if this mask had plastic in the middle and it was held together, it would be more like the Scream masks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once we cut the plastic out, so that, and this is fabric, then the idea of what's holding it together is gone in the fabric, and it spreads out, and then it goes on my face and it spreads out more. And the reason why is because after the first day of shooting and I'm doing the voice, the sound guy couldn't really hear me.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I probably improvised more as the killer than I did
Doofy,
because there was just a lot more things like hiding in the house or jokes like that, or the rap. I just made that rap up as we went, and but so that's why
made the wrap up on the spot.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Well, we did, and I didn't even know what I said, to be quite honest. And they translated it. They typed it up because then when the movie was finished, they said, "Hey, we want you." They had me write another verse. Write another verse. Come into the studio and let's record both verses again with a song. And so if you watch the movie, there's actually me rapping in a song at the end. I got a writing credit and everything on the.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. I was checking off a lot of things on the bucket list. Okay, I want to be a rap star. I want to be a killer. I want to play a dumb guy with half a mustache. Like, it was all. I want to poop my pants. I want to jerk off with a vacuum. Like, I mean, I was all these bucket lists from when I was like 5 years old. You know what I mean? I think jerking off with a vacuum, that was always something. You asked, one of your questions was, did you always want to be in films?
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to jerk off with a vacuum. And I knew that this was a way that I could do it legally without upsetting my parents too much. So, that's how things lead in. That's how you develop. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's got weird things, so like, how do you think the Tiger King came about? He didn't he wanted to bang a tiger, but he can't just bang a tiger. He had to say, well, I got to get a tiger. So then he's got tigers,
Oh God. You're too funny. Let's talk about upcoming projects because we were just kind of briefly talking about Killer Rose. You're doing Killer Rose, Bloody Summer Camp, Blood Beast, and Don't Look There. Those are a few that I grabbed from your IMDb page. Did you want to talk about anything that you can say that doesn't give too much away?
Yeah, I'll talk about all that. Let's just go back to this really quick because
of course, go for it.
Jump around. So Doofy 2020 currently right now is obviously it's a goofy campaign. But I did think I think I flipped Guam and I almost took Rhode Island, just to let you know. I was close, and every Doofy vote counts. And so I'm going to get my lawyer, and we're going to make sure that we can monitor the recounts as they're happening now. I think I got this many. But you can go to doofy2020.com and you can get these shirts, and it's for a charity. And how that came about was going back to my dog. I got crazy bills at that time. Yeah. $6,000 in veterinary and operation hospital bills. The medications alone were like $1,000.
Wow.
I wasn't even, and my dog didn't need them, so I took them, and it's fine. It's fine. Expensive drugs. That's the most I ever spent on drugs for myself.
But a lot of it
I'm joking. I gave my dog some of them. Hold on. Is somebody coming in? I'm scared. I heard something at the door.
It's a ghost. No, like for the charity. So you want to explain a bit about the charity and what the money went towards?
Yeah. So originally I got on the ball to say, I got to make these things. There's no cons, but I'll put it up on a website because I wanted to raise money for myself to pay for my dog bills because there was no conventions. I was doing films, but I got to be honest, I do low budget films now. We'll talk about those films in a minute. I make as much as a PA makes usually, but the payoff is on my films are, now that they're horror films, then you go to conventions and I have revenue from the conventions from the films, and I love horror fans. So then I did that, and then the guy, my buddy Pete, who's printing these shirts outside of San Diego, I didn't hear from him for like a month, and I was like, dude, I gotta get these shirts up. I gotta get them printed. And I thought he was just blowing me off. And then finally he hit me up saying, sorry, dude, I've been MIA for 3 weeks because we've been dealing with this fire down here. We had to evacuate.
So bad.
Yeah. And so he finally got back in. We're ready to go. And then a story came across, the news feed, and it was this family called the Toft family. And Christopher's dad. He's the only one not hurt in this, but he's affected emotionally and devastatedly because and I don't want to get in the whole story. You can go and look that up, and you can also just donate to the GoFundMe. Just Google Toft family GoFundMe, and they have a GoFundMe that's where these proceeds from the shirt eventually, once I figure out like, okay, sales are done, because I don't want to keep
what I was gonna say, when do you plan on like cutting it off? Like how long can people order them for?
We don't know. When's it going to be decided? I honestly, for sure, it's going to go until 2020 because one of the jokes I was going to have. I was going to have a joke where Doofy thinks that it goes till December 31st. Like, we still have time. It's only December 12th. 2 more weeks,
I love how you've been doing those videos on YouTube lately. I get a kick out of them.
Yeah, and that's been cool too, having this opportunity to go and do those videos and bring the character back out, because when I would do the conventions, there's a few of them, not all of them. It depends on what the convention is, where I'll do photo ops and I'll dress up as Doofy. And recently, the last one, Days of the Dead in Vegas, I added another Doofy element where I did the Doofy in the underwear scene with the vacuum, because I thought, okay, now I can offer 2 Doofies, because to get into the hair and the mustache and everything, I was like, well, what if I
love how like the mustache was like falling off like on one side.
Yeah. But he's always had it crooked. What's funny about that was in some of those videos, there's one I did at the Plaza Hotel 4 Days of the Dead. That's my real mustache. I shaved it halfway. And then I had another thing to shoot the next day with Doofy. So I kept it, and I was out with everybody, and they're like, dude, and they made me put some mascara on because we were at like a dark bar. Nobody's really going to be able to tell, but half of my face was mascara. The other half was the real mustache. But when I originally did Doofy in Scary Movie, we cut my hair. That's my real hair. And then I really did have a real mustache for about a week and a half. And I was committed. But again, all the other actors were like, man, we're going out. We're young actors. We're going out to bars. Dude, I can't sit next to you with that stupid mustache, So the makeup artist was like, I can make that thing look real just like that in 3 minutes. So just
that's awesome.
So that's what I did. I shaved it. Yeah.
Very cool. Did you want to talk about some upcoming films that you have? They want to get the word out?
Yeah. So again, when I found out about the Toft family, they a young boy, their boy passed away in the fire with his dog. And the fires were kind of brought to me via Pete, my printer, and my dog was the whole reason I got into this. And when I read that, a boy and his dog, I'm a boy and his dog. I'm a father. I have a kid, and the dog climbed on top of the boy to save him. So they found them burned where the boy was underneath the dog. Like the dog. That was so sad. And and the boy only went back. The kid only went back to rescue the grandmother. He was trying to get the grandmother out of the house. So he was a hero at the same time. The dog and the boy were a hero. They're heroes. And the mother was burned 90% of her body. And when the father found the mother, he didn't even recognize her. He said, I'll take you to the hospital as soon as I can, but I got to get up the road to help my family. And that's when she said, I'm your wife. It's a really tragic story. I'm hoping, we're going to raise some money. It's probably not going to be as much as I'm disappointed, but I only have so much reach. they cost me $6. They cost me $7 to ship. It's $13 right there. So I think I have it up for 30. Like.
Plus, you get the stickers.
The stickers are free, yeah, but the stickers cost me money. When I added it all up, honestly, I love it's a good attention, and I'm gonna probably add more money to the pot myself. And I'm gonna go to a few of my corporate friends and really try to see if they'll match it, because I probably could have just took everything that I spent and just gave it to them, and I think that would have been more.
Yeah.
But it is the thought that counts in some weird way. And I was already making the shirts, so the reality was,
why not? I think fans would love them.
In my head, it made sense to do this, but
it's
kind of like these elections. All the money they spent on these elections, it ended up with about the same amount of votes as they had last time. It's a close call either way right now.
Yeah,
what's going to happen. But the reality is, billions of dollars were spent, and they could have just took that money and used it to help people, to better the world. Instead, they used it to spit venom at each other. So we should all be disgusted. That's how we're running our world. That money like that just goes for nothing. For two evils, in my opinion. So the reality, they're the same thing. It's one and the same. Their job is not to make sure a third ever gets in there. It's like it's like the Washington Generals and the Harlem Globetrotters. It's not a real game, and it's two teams. But if you had a third team in there with some skin in the game, then all of a sudden the Generals might actually be a real team too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So go doofy2020.com. It will be on sale. I'm gonna have them on sale. I have got
do it till the end of the year. I'll pick one up of those for myself because come to Canada for a convention. Have you done a convention here?
No, I thought you were in. Where are you in Canada?
Yeah, I'm like near Toronto.
Okay, that's where we shot that Arbor Live in Toronto. No, the second season was in Toronto. The first season was in Winnipeg.
I'll have to try to get you up here once things go back to normal.
Yeah, I think there was. What's one called? It's called like Scarefest or.
There's one called like Fan Expo, is like the biggest one in Toronto. Then there's one called Horrorama, which is in Toronto, and then there's Niagara Falls Comic Con and Frightmare in the Falls, which is at the same plaza.
That's the one, Frightmare.
Yeah.
Because I do more of the hard ones. I don't traditionally do like ones that say like Wizard World or Comic Con.
Yeah,
I could, because I have enough films that are across the board that are pop culture.
Somewhere like Frightmare will probably get more fans though, because everyone there is all horror fans.
Exactly. I when I discovered the horror community and the horror conventions, and that's how I got to know the horror fans and the type of people they are and how they're so very loyal. It's a loyal fan base, and they love horror movies. And so I basically, that really came out of Devil's Rejects, because we did my first one was just a Devil's Rejects reunion. I didn't even know there was horror conventions. I had somebody reached out, will you come and do a Devil's Rejects reunion? Sure. And I didn't even know what I was doing the reunion with. I was like, a reunion? Oh, it's a convention. I actually said, let's do the reunion. I thought it was going to be a party. I thought someone was just paying for us to get together and play softball. I didn't know. And cool. So ultimately, once I knew what those fans were about, and I saw what a great community it was, and also how the reality is horror movies can be done for $100,000, $200,000. And so it's a way to creatively broaden out, because I try not to do the horror movies unless there's something new that I'm going to be bringing to the table, and be able to have a way to sort of like, okay, I've done this, now let me do this. And of course, I'm playing a lot of sheriffs, but I'm not playing deputies anymore. I moved up. I moved up. I'm
a lot of sheriffs. You play a lot of policemen.
In Blood Beast, I think I'm playing the mayor, like a Jaws type of mayor. Yeah. So now I'm moving up in the political scale. I might be eventually make it to a purge where I'm the president. You know what I mean? One of these purges.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been the bad guys in some of them, which is a lot funner to play bad guys than funny guys. I think I have a good time doing it. That way I don't have to yell at my kids, my wife. I've got enough of the.
You played a bad guy in Little Man and in Sex
Yep.
Drive.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, I've seen most of your comedies. Like
Yep.
one movie that I wish you had more time on was Ghost World
Yeah.
because your character was so funny, and I'm like, I want more of him.
Yeah, the original character from Ghost World, and I have all his wardrobe here because it's my wardrobe. Is I got and I just realized his glasses. Doug is the character in Ghost World, but
Yeah.
originally he was Stuart. And
Oh
same
wow.
and same thing with Doofy. Doofy was originally Chit. And
Yeah.
these were like short films that I made, like you made a short film, and people started to see them in the early 90s, 91, 92 on VHS tape. And then I was getting calls, hey, will you come and do this? So I remember Mike Judge and Richard Linkletter, they really liked Stuart, the character from Ghost World, which is renamed Doug. And for reason because we had a Stuart movie and it was set up at Dimension Films, who made Scary Movie. We were
Right.
already going with Stuart. They had a cast. We had Amanda Plummer. We had Ashton Kutcher was in it, who played my nemesis before like he blew up, and a lot of great actors. David Denman from The Office, and so the Weinsteins were like sort of ready to pull the trigger on our film. We were actually in pre-production. There was money invested in it. And they said, well, you're going to be the star of this movie, but nobody knows who you are. So let's put you into this other movie, Scary Movie, that we're about to shoot next week. So
Oh.
I went away and shot Scary Movie while we were rewriting. And while I was up in Vancouver shooting Scary Movie, I was getting notes and rewriting the Stewart movie, which was a demolition derby movie.
Wow.
And the notes from the Weinsteins were, we had an anti-hero demolition derby movie. There was no real demolition derby in the movie. That was just the engine of this sort of like unrequited love and a hero's journey. And but I wanted it to be this sort of anti-hero's journey where he never actually gets in this third act thing that's been talked about the whole movie. Exactly. And where the whole town is behind this, it's the biggest thing in this town, the demolition derby. But the Weinsteins had notes of, no. He needs to be the water boy of demolition derbies. He needs to transcend it. He's the Michael Jordan of demolition derbies. He just doesn't know it. And they had me writing these stunts, and I'm flipping the cars, riding it on two wheels, and it blew the budget up. It blew the budget up and it was I think it was about a $5 million to $7 million budget before, and it turned into like $15 million, which is double the size of what they committed to. And then Harvey called me up and goes, $15 million means $30 million to release, because they usually take that number and they double it for the P&A and the print. That's the print and advertisement and get it into theaters. And so then he was like, ooh, that's a little high for us. And we're not going to do the movie. So like they didn't make the Stewart movie, but I was already in Scary Movie, but they canned the Stewart before Scary Movie came out. And they didn't really believe in Scary Movie they didn't know what they had. And so in hindsight, they called me saying we should have made Stewart. We didn't know Scary Movie was it. So Terry Zwigoff was a director on the Stewart film. He did Ghost World. He was the director on the Stewart film. And so when Stewart was let go, actually he was fired early on. They were going through directors. And he then went on Ghost World. With Dan Klaus, and they did that film together. And so when he heard that the film was canned, he said, well, what do you look like right now? And I said, dude, we were building the demolition derby cars. I literally, I don't know if it's here. Wait a second. I don't know where I have this stowed away, because I keep them in different places. If by luck, yeah, perfect. So I was living in Texas. That's where Mike Judge lives, and Richard Linkletter in Austin. And we converted, at that point, the airport in Texas closed down and they built a new airport. And so our money from the film built this airport into film studios. And now it's called Troublemaker Studios, which is Robert Rodriguez's studios. But my money and my film and Stewart, we built those studios. So I had a 10-speed in the movie with a boombox, and I'm in the skateboard. I would ride up and down the runways, at this airport, totally free to do that. It was pretty awesome. And so I was there for a couple months doing the film or prepping for the film. And because I was a resident, so let's see if I can put this in an angle that doesn't blow out. Or maybe if I bring it up closer. There you go.
Oh my God.
There's me as the Ghost World character when I was living in Texas shooting the film. I went and got that license because I do license when I go to different states. Here's that's my Delaware license right there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I dress up as, you know.
You're a character. You're a character actor.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
an actor that plays characters, deep characters. Because a lot of people always say that you're a character actor, but I'm not a character actor because what is known as a character actor is a Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is a character actor when you have a certain look. Danny is Danny Trejo. You know what I'm saying? He's made his career on his look, on his voice, on the way he acts. That's actually what's called a traditional character actor, is a guy that's in real life is a character. You know what I mean? Like,
for you, you're always, I feels like each time I see you in a film, you're always someone else that has a new look to them.
I do, yeah. In fact, I don't get recognized. There are people that come up to me and don't even realize, they'll see some photos on the table and they go, I didn't even know you were in that. They would say, that's my favorite movie of all time. I didn't know you were in that. I'm like, well, I'm the star. I killed the bad guy. No, I just didn't know it was you, And one case on that, it happens a lot lately because of where that film is in sort of the rotation of people catching it and watching it, is Victor Crowley. I don't know if you saw Victor Crowley.
I haven't yet. I really want to, though.
I'm in that. I guess I just blew it for you because you would have watched it. You probably wouldn't have known I was in it if you watched it.
Because you're unrecognizable.
No, what's funny about that is I actually look pretty much like this, but I guess people are expecting me to look different. And I started saying, I got to start, I was getting notes from people going like, you got to start showing people that you're an okay looking guy, don't get the mustaches and the glasses.
I think that's kind of like your trademark. I mean, it's like each time I see you, as I said in the film, you always look different. So I think it's kind of like a trademark for you, but I don't know. You're so good.
It's also kind of like a challenge. So I like that, but I'm shy and I don't seek fame, like people, I'm not a name. They don't know me, but they know my characters. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm doing podcasts, look, no, never mind. I just thought of that. Forget it. I'm out of here. I'm just kidding. But,
well, you're just challenges. Like, what has been your most challenging role and your favorite role that you've played in so far in your career?
Okay. But going back to the Stewart one, this one really quick. Just to finish that story. So Terry called me up. We just got canned. I cried in a car in Austin, Texas, because that was going to be, I wrote the movie. I created the thing. I had a show on MTV prior to this where they wanted me to use this character, Stewart, as a big part of the show. And I was like, no, I'm not, because they would own it at that point. I was like, I'm not doing Chip. I held on to my core characters, that even though those are the tapes that got me my show. I was like, I'm not going to do those tapes. They were like, oh, well, we gave you a show to do those characters. I'll give you new characters, but I don't want to, those ones are mine and I want to do stuff with them. And so, but once, the rights with Miramax and the Stewart and stuff, it's now once a movie's in and they're putting money up, it's a cacophony of, rights, and it's a mess. So
is that that character Stewart is did you say is it any footage available to watch?
Yeah, there's two types of footage. I probably have a collection of VHS tapes of all the auditions, like Ashton Kutcher auditioning and Amanda Plummer, and just a lot of actors.
Made though, right?
Huh?
He said it never got made though, right?
Yeah, those are just tapes in the room. I kept all the tapes of them auditioning.
That's too bad. The plug on that production.
But the short film, the real film never got shot. But there's two films. One was the original short that called Stewart that got the thing going. I have that somewhere. My old Mac tower. I do think I digitized everything at one point, but it's in an old tower. I need to pull the hard drives out and put them in what's called a toaster so I can get them out because the tower's dead.
Yeah.
And they might be on there. If not, I have them on analog tapes, like 3/4 or what. Actually, some of them are digital, like what's D1s or D2s. I don't know what they're called, but and then beta. I know it sounds funny. It's not Betamax, but beta tapes were
Yeah.
what you rolled the masters on a beta, which is not different than Betamax. Betamax is like the VHS of beta is a different format. So both
Cool.
Sony though.
So
yeah, I have that film, and so that's when Terry Zwigoff called and said, "What do you look like, man?" And I said, "Oh, good. I got the mullet, I got the glasses, the mustache. Keep it. Come to LA next week. We're gonna put you in Ghost World." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I knew nothing about the film. I just knew that, like, I knew if I could go play this character and do a good job, it would just be kind of like a middle finger back to the Weinsteins. And then I also said on the phone call when he said, "We're not going to make the movie, Dave. It's too much money." I go, "Okay, it's all right. It's all right, Harvey. I understand," even though I was crying. But I said, "Just let you know, someday I'm going to get you for raping women. And I'm going to get you and I'm going to send you to jail because I know who you are. I know where you're at, and I will come for you." That's my Liam Neeson from Taken. Although he said, "I don't know who you are or where you are," but I was like, "Let me tell you something, Harvey. I know where you are. I know who you are, and I will come for you."
It's too bad that
we did. He's now sitting in jail, and now he's getting raped. And
Did
now
you?
I should send him a Doofy 2020 soap on the rope. Maybe I'll do that.
I was gonna say, did you know about any back in the day were any of those allegations going around, or was it just from the recent times, even back then?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And you see his name all the time.
I knew that stuff when I was just getting into business because the other executives would be like,
"How did you stick around for so
Harvey, let me tell you what he did last night. Like, this girl in the limousine, this, that. I was like, whoa, really? Wow, okay. Luckily, nothing ever happened to me, but sadly, nothing ever happened to me. I wasn't attractive enough to, Terry Crews, there's been Me Too things with men. You know that, right? And that saddened me and a couple of my relatively decent looking friends. I guess we're not good looking enough. And I said, but I am a good looking guy. And I said, you know what? I think I'm attractive. I would be attractive to like a Kevin Spacey, who I've met a few times. But Kevin Spacey didn't grip that thigh.
Well, you worked on Horrible Bosses. Did you meet him on that set?
No, I've known Kevin Spacey for a bunch of years because one of my close friends, who I actually met on the Beyonce Knowles movie I did, the Fighting Temptations.
Yeah.
And, my friend, I'm not going to say his name, but he worked for Kevin's company called Trigger Street. And so I would hang out there all the time. And I've met Kevin a few times through that. And, but he never came on to me and said, "I can make your career, I can help you out." And so I've come to terms with that, which is like, wait, I'm kind of an attractive guy. You've seen Ghost World. I got the abs, not anymore. I got the abs. I had the abs. And I was like, so if it's not my attractiveness, because gay men, I would have to say this, like, women don't reach out on the DMs, and they're not like men. Women don't show you their badge in a photo. I get penis pics, and I know my female friends just get unsolicited penis pics sent to them. And I was like, just to let you know, guys out there, don't do that. Don't do that. You're not going to pick a girl up that way. You're not going to find your wife that way. It's not a gentleman thing to do. And have some morals and some decency. It's perverted and odd when a lot of my female actor friends tell me or show me. And by the way, guys, they show me, so I see your penis pics. You know what I mean? But I also get them. I get, if I go on, are you on Instagram or whatever that, I think it's Instagram is the one, because there's a thing where it's called requests, where you're not following them, they're not your friend, but you can click on there. And of course, every now and then I'll see one, like somebody like you, like, "Oh, I'd like to do a podcast." And it's like, one, "I'd like to do a podcast, 4 penis pics." Another, "I'd like to do a podcast, 3 penis pics." And then, "Hey, you're my favorite actor from Scary Movie. How do you get into acting?" And, or will you sign a photo and send it to me? And I gotta pay. Nothing is nothing, but don't ask me to sign photos at home, because first of all, I do cons. I'm not trying to be a
Have you ever thought of selling autographs online?
Huh? What?
Have you ever thought of like selling autographs through like an online shop?
Yes. That's like I have a booker, and so there's two things that happen that way. Is there are the shops, they come to you and they'll say, we'll have you do 500 photos, and then you sign them like
like
that, and then they go and sell them. And
There's a lot
then
of like
another one is it's called like Zobi V Shout.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to be doing that, or I'm already on there. And
I saw you on there.
I'm on there?
Yeah, you're on there. They're a good company.
I didn't know that. There you go. Oh, so you knew that I was doing that.
Because I follow them on their Facebook and they posted it.
Oh, cool. But did they mention the shirts?
Don't remember. I have to double check.
I'll have to talk to because I'm left with a whole bunch of, I got about a case of these. So I thought when they asked me if I do the Zobi shout out, then I was like, okay, I might as well toss the shirts in. You know what I mean? I don't have that many cars. You know, that whole shirt. I have another shirt that says, you know, my other car's a Corvette or whatever. You know, my other Chevette's a Corvette, or my, you know, whatever that joke is. You know, I don't have a Corvette, so I'm not going to be out in my G-string bikini like buffing my car with these old shirts. Like, so I'm going to see if they'll help me.
Yeah,
you know, do a thing on Zobi where it's like you get the photo, you get the shirt, and I do a little shout out, and
it'll be fun.
It's really the first time I'm going to do something like that. I do think that a positive thing that might have came out of my business with the COVID thing is people going, hey, we're doing a lot of auditions virally. We're doing these podcasts, the Zoom, the StreamYards, a lot of meetings now, but also virtual cons. These virtual cons, like a way. I think it's a way. It's opened up some new avenues for a way for an actor to interface with their fans, like Cameo and sort of virtual cons and the Zobi thing. Because I'm not on Cameo either, and a lot of my actor friends are, and they're constantly. You have no idea how many times I've been texted, "Here, sign up," by these actor friends, and also the guy. I think they're out of Chicago. I've had like the president of Cameo twice sent me like, Dave, I'm going to help you sign up, and I'm just so like I don't get the stuff.
You're savvy.
Well, hold on a sec. I think it's over here. See, this isn't even that far, and I've moved to 3 or 4 homes since then. This is how bad I am, and I've done this in the past. I've mentioned it on one of our Time's Up thing. There's a guy named, and I think he's probably got a Paul Verdile. Paul Verdile. That's his self-addressed stamp envelope. I probably have to add some stamps
right.
Because this was 2013, and I met him at a convention, and he had it printed up, and he wrote me a nice letter. Dear Dave, I met you a few years back. I mean, this is probably like 6 years. This thing's sitting on my desk. All I got to do is take a Sharpie and sign this. And he also sent the Devil's Rejects and a Walking Deceased. Well, now that I see that, this was 2015. So this has been sitting on my desk, on several desks that keep getting moved. 5 years. All I got to do is sign this and get it to the mailbox. I don't even have to pay for the shipping. But that's the kind of I can't even do that. You might notice I have ADD or ADHD. I've got several other D's and several other H's, like a DDHS, like a dentist or something. I'm a DDS or whatever. ADHD, DDS. Oh, there you go, the dentist. That's how it all comes full circle. Anyway, if Paul ever sees this, I have it.
He's got to get it out to him.
Now, I've decided no, it's never, Paul, you're never getting it. It's mine. Because I realize he has 2 DVDs without covers, and he's probably looking at those. It's probably driving him crazy. And, no, what I'd rather do is I'm going to run into Paul someday. I know he's on the East Coast. I know when I met him at Monster Mania. So I'm going to put this in my pre-packed con bag, because now I kind of have a bag with all the stuff in it, the photos and stuff. Go put this in there, so when he comes up, then I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to mail that. Here it is for 6 years. But then he'll be like, because I think he'll be like, hey, I sent something. Oh yeah, Paul, I got it right here, man. Here you go. That'll be funny. So, and I'm a guy that loves long lead jokes. You know what I mean? I love jokes that take a long time. We did a movie called Windy City Heat. Did you ever see that film?
I haven't, no.
That's a good one, and it's got a cult following. That was a film where we pranked the guy for like 6 years. But the film doesn't take place in 6 years, but the history of what leads to the actual big film was the fact that this guy was being dragged along and pranked for years. And then he finally has a moment to make a movie. It's the making of a movie called Windy City Heat, but it's the behind the scenes. And they're just, the whole thing's a prank. There is no movie. There's no movie. And this guy doesn't know it. And we get him to the premiere and everything. Because I'm the limo driver taking him to the premiere, and he's like, I don't know how we shot this movie in a week. And it's only been like 7 days, and now it's edited. You know what I mean? Like he's not the smartest bulb.
It's like that episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Dee's like getting signed up for a gig as a comedian, and the whole thing's faked and made up. Oh God.
Yeah. They didn't want to tell him they couldn't get him a gig. Is that the thing?
That's too funny.
I'm from the Philly area.
Oh yeah, really?
But I don't have cable, so when that thing was in its heyday, it wasn't like, oh, it's on Netflix. Like now I can catch stuff on Netflix a lot easier. Yeah. I've only seen a few episodes of that Always Sunny in Philly. The one that sticks out in my mind was some sort of talent show, but Danny DeVito is also like he's like a dead body. He's like a mortician, but he's like you know what I mean? He's in some weird. He was doing something at a mortician place.
A mortician place.
He's like he's got makeup on like he's a dead body, but he also has to be like the ringleader, or maybe he's got this theatrical makeup on, but he looks like he's dead or something. It's pretty funny. Maybe it's a fundraiser for the bar, and they're having I don't know. You never saw it? Okay.
I'm sure I've seen it. It's just I have to watch it to ring a bell again.
And there's a skiing one. There's like a spoofy skiing one where they play up the whole 80s hot dog and skiing stuff. And they go to the Poconos. Which if anyone's ever skied in the Poconos, you're not skiing. You know what I mean? It's kind of just hills of ice, like the man-made snow, because it doesn't snow in the Poconos much anymore. I mean, and I guess they'll get some, but not enough to pack for skiing. So
yeah. You want to quit? Where's your phone at right now? Is it dying or is it okay?
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't say when it's in this mode. I'd have to get you out of the mode. I don't want to do that.
Okay, I want to do.
It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. It's going to
be fine. Have faith. Have faith.
You were saying because we skipped around, but you want to do lightning round of like questions. So like, what was most challenging in your favorite role to play? Because you haven't really answered that yet. We kind of went towards Stewart at one part, but.
Okay, yeah. The most challenging role was a movie called Bloodcraft with Augie Duke and James Cullen Brezak. I always say Bresnik, but I think it's Breziak or something. And have you seen that film?
I haven't, but okay. I saw the cover of it. I saw it on your IMDb.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. And that one I play a priest. I play a priest who's a bad priest. And it's really a reverend because he has a wife and he has kids, but he's corrupt and he's bad and he's stealing money from his church, and he's an alcoholic, and he also the wife dies of cancer.
Oh no!
So it's a very emotional scene for me there, that part, and then but he also then it gets really dark and sick, and there's real little girls in this movie playing my daughters.
Right.
And I molest them, and I molest them because I'm drunk and I'm looking for affection via my daughters. It's kind of a Sodom and Gomorrah type of thing because Sodom, not so much Sodom, they're the towns. Who's the guy in Sodom and Gomorrah? I know my Bible. Hold on. So somebody you might know. But the daughters thought it was the end of the world, and they got them drunk and they had sex with them, and that's the irony of Sodom and Gomorrah. The story is like the guy gets away, his wife looks back, turns us all. The two daughters, they get the whole world destroyed. They're living in a cave. They get him drunk, have sex with him, And so everything they just did, drinking and sex was exactly what,
Dave, you're breaking up really bad. Your voice sounds really weird.
Oh, hold on. Yours does too.
Mine does too.
Do you know where I am?
Mine sounds weird too.
Yeah, yours sounds weird.
That's weird. Hold on, let me turn the mic off.
Like an old TV.
Okay, let's try now. Better?
Your host has
That's weird.
No.
It's really weird. I can hear you, but it sounds really weird.
Well, I'm tripping out. I don't know about you, but this is good.
Oh, maybe he's gone. Can you guys hear me? I think his phone died. Can anybody hear me in the live chat? Oh, God. Hold on, let me call him on his phone. Let me call him on his phone because I have US calling. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me see.
Stop, and I got them. This was the knife.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna call him on his phone because if his phone died, then I probably can't get him back on. Let me try anyways. His phone probably died. Or you can call again, join the call. Hey, everybody in the live chat. It's been fun chatting with Dave. Hopefully he can hop back on for a little bit more so we can finish off the interview here. I'm gonna try calling him. Although I just said his phone's probably dead. Let's see.
While we complete your long distance call. To avoid this message, please dial 1 before.
How is everyone doing in the chat? Let's see if he picks up.
Go.
Hey, did it kick you out?
Yeah, but I'm back on.
Okay, I'll wait for you to hop on. Everyone says that they can hear me fine. So hop back on.
I'm on.
You're on right now?
Yeah.
I don't see you in the chat, the room here.
Let me try again.
Okay.
Let me try again. I'll go back to my let me go back to the link and hit it. And you're entering the broadcast and you have moved close. And then you're going to hit allow. And your browser can't access your device. So any other app. I'm going to let me reset all the apps.
All right. Dave said Dave and technology is a long-standing issue.
This is great, though. This is what's called drama. What we need.
Yeah, on the spot, unedited.
Yeah.
It's funner this way.
I'm wondering if it's because you're on the phone.
Yeah, do you want me to get off the phone and see if you can hop back in?
No, let's stay there. It might work.
Okay.
It could be that because it's trying to allow. Yeah, get off the phone. Put my phone.
All right. Okay, hopefully you can come back in here. Let's see. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know we haven't. I've been reading the comments while we're been doing the interview, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Okay, now I see him. He's back.
What's going on?
Do you have your phone charger?
Yeah, I charged it. It's now
Okay. Perfect.
Charger. We might be a little crooked because I put it on the charger.
When your phone was about to turn off, that's why that's why the voice is probably so weird.
Why, do you work for Mac? Is that what you?
What? No.
I blame you. I blame you. No, what's good is now it's going to be crooked, guys, because I had the plug in and it's like, okay, so this is good enough. I'll just have to sit higher. My mom will be like, Dave, sit up. You're slouching. That'll be work. And I'll just lean this way. Yeah, let's go a little lower. There we go. Good enough. So, yeah, that was good, though, because you sounded like the killer.
Yeah, it sounded like the Ghostface killer.
There you go. Worked out. It all worked out. Good stuff. So what were we talking about? I don't even remember.
I don't even. We can go to a different question though if you want. I was
Oh
saying,
no. We were talking about Bloodcraft and my most challenging role.
yes, that's it. Thank you.
So I had to basically do really terrible things to these kids, and their parents are there, and also I had to get in my own space. So that was a dramatic thing, and also with my wife dying, there was a crime scene.
Yeah.
And then one of my daughters gets pregnant, and I have to give her an abortion.
Oh,
that's a
God.
bad scene too. They're hard scenes, and so doing the performance part, I was a little nervous, not nervous, but like, I've never gone that dramatic before. Trying to tap in to those ids in my character bank of feelings and stuff like that. I had to remember what it was like I've done like 4 abortions, but ultimately, and that was just for money. Okay. So it was an internship too. I was unpaid. No, I'm joking. That was terrible. And that's the thing was I was so uncomfortable. I was making jokes like that on set. I'd be like, normally when I do the hanger, I do it this way, and everyone was like, but I had to break up the levity of it.
It feels like you're one of those people that are good with on the spot type of jokes. Like even for you doing improv on set on films, obviously like most actors, I have a feeling are probably like that. But you're good because I mean, even if it's dark, I know some people don't like dark comedy or whatever, but
I think the thing is, with someone like me, your batting average is maybe like a professional baseball player, you're batting 300, and that's good, or 250. So if you say 10 jokes and that 2 of them are really good, unfortunately, everyone hanging up around you is like, dude, like there's 8 ones that like, why'd you say that? Like, like people walked away. You're the guy at the party. Like this, what did I say? I was trying to be funny. They're not always that. I'm not funny all the time, but the only way to kind of find jokes is by saying them out loud. There are probably some people that can just be like, they have a better filter. I don't have much of a filter. So, but yeah, that was the most challenging thing. And it wasn't so much the actual performance, like rolling camera. It's afterward. It's in between the setups, because when you make a movie, now, okay, we're going to go in for your close-up.
to get back into character.
You have to keep it. You have to hold on to this, like that energy ball of like, this thing, what the heck am I? This is not making me feel good. And you have to go, and I would have to go sort of separate myself because I don't want to lose that and start telling the jokes. And so it's draining, because when I'm doing comedy, I actually like to engage with everyone on set while we're doing comedic stuff, because it actually is just, like I said, 8 bad jokes too, and I can find things and I might go, that's funny, I'll do it in this scene now. But with like a drama like that, so dark, it's sort of like, well, I got to hold on to this. Let me step over there because you guys are talking about the football odds, or you're talking about the shopping list, and I can't do that. And it's a different energy, but it's like self-draining. And so the difficult part was leaving the whole day. Like, it would actually drain your brain, but then your body would be drained, and you'd have to put on some music to sort of get your head out of it. But I could see how certain actors, and I think we know this, that there's actors that have drug problems and actors that have alcohol problems, and some of those might be dramatic actors that end up with some problems. And I can see how it might be a door that's a little less like in terms of the addiction and self-medicating. I could see how if you're in that business of doing something like that every day, then maybe, you need to blow off steam, or you need a way to kind of take the boiling pressure out of the pot a little bit. I definitely felt that. I'm not going to say I loved it. I didn't, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't keep exploring that space. So that would probably be the most challenging role that I've done. They're all challenging in some way.
Of course. Yeah.
And then what was the other one? The least challenging role?
No, like your favorite role, and we can also like, what was your worst and best experience, like while like on a set?
Yeah, but I would say my favorite roles were definitely Doofy and Doug from Ghost World.
Yeah,
Probably for two reasons. I was already doing these. I mean, these were characters I was developing in college, and I did it Second City on stage, and we made short films. So I obviously enjoyed. They were coming from very like immature parts of my development, meaning they were the stronger ones because it was just right there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I gravitated to them early on in my sort of creating characters. But at the same time, they were mine, and it was nice to see, like when I was at the premiere of Ghost World, to see the reaction of that character that the other guys didn't want to make the movie, and it sort of steals the scenes in Ghost World. And saw the film, right?
Yeah, I just watched it this week for the first time. I've been wanting to see it for a while, though.
But the one thing you would say about that film, and you don't have to agree with me, but I think you will, is he stands out in the movie because he doesn't really, the energy doesn't even fit.
No, it doesn't.
And so now that I tell you that they just put me in the movie and we improvised those, we just made those scenes up. You know what I mean? Like it was loosely like, so
how did like Scarlett and Thora and like how'd they react? Was that their first time seeing you?
Yeah, well, see, they were shooting earlier in the day, and since I already looked like the character, Swigoff was like, and it's my wardrobe and stuff. He's like, just come, show up like Doug, or Doug is what we named him. Show up like Stewart. And so I actually ended up showing up at lunch, right at their lunch break, and our scenes were at a 7-Eleven, and they set up like outdoor tent eating in like this mobile gas station adjacent parking lot to the strip mall where the 7-Eleven was. And so I knew nobody knew me, and I looked like that guy. And Steve Buscemi, the actors always sit with actors usually. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, and the camera guys are sitting with the camera guys, and the makeup girls are sitting with the makeup. So it's kind of segregated like that. And don't get any ideas. Keep it that way, okay? I don't want to talk about makeup at lunch. So I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna go get the food, and immediately, like, the AD or the whoever's in charge of running the parking lot and the catering, they go, I've never seen this guy, and he just walked from over here, and now he's taking our food. And so I got approached with general, like, first level of security people, like a PA, like, sir, that lunch is for the crew and the cast. And I was like, dude, I don't even listen to you.
That's so funny.
And I kept saying, it was my uncle. My uncle owns this mobile, man. He told me I could come down and eat, and I was doing the whole thing like, I don't know, dude, I'm eating. Fuck off, man. And then I got the thing, and I immediately went beeline it, like I knew I'm gonna go sit with Buscemi and those guys, but I sat like at the end of the table, and then another person with a walkie-talkie. I'm like, can we help you? You're not even supposed to sit here. Who's your uncle again? We have a gentleman here. He says his uncle owns the mobile. What on the thing, and Steve Buscemi, he really doesn't fuck around, but he bought into this because he saw me as like, who's this jackass, right? Yeah. And he was there with his brother, who was also a pretty tough guy. They're both firefighters in New York,
right?
So Buscemi's a tough guy, even though he's small, and I kicked his ass. But at the end of the day, like, he wasn't scared. He wasn't like, I'm not going to say anything. He said, hey, can I help you, buddy? Can I help you? You're not supposed to be sitting here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, this is America, man. And like, I was like, my uncle owns the mobile, dude. And he said I could have the lunch. You know what I mean? And he's like, you gotta fucking go. And that's when his brother got in. If you want your ass kicked now, stay, or get out, is what he was saying. And I threw the shit down. I'm like, all right, this fucking food tastes worse than the prison food I'm used to, And I was like, and everyone was gathered around, and there was more ADs, kind of like, or like, the assistants and stuff like that, kind of trying to buffer us, me and Buscemi. And I was like, I don't know who you are, and I don't know who you are, but I know who you are, man. I knew you from the Fargo thing. I know who you are, Buscemi, and I'm going to find you. This isn't over. And then I stood at the edge of the property with those nunchucks, because they were my nunchucks, and I'm just sitting there doing the nunchuck. And eventually the producers, John Malkovich produced that movie, and they had come. They were watching the whole thing, just trying not to laugh. And they Dave, come over. It's, we told him. It was fun. Kind of had a prank.
It sounds interesting to how Doofy came to be, because people actually thought there was something wrong with you until you told them.
Yeah, because as I mentioned before, I was already doing a film with Dimension, Miramax. They said, we want you as Doofy. They were already aware of Chip. They said, will you play Chip as Doofy? I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. I read the script, and I love Scream. It's kind of weird because Scream is a very good movie, and it's already a comedy. It's already kind of a satire of slasher movies. We're doing a parody of a satire, which is kind of funny. And it's really funny. And so I told you that Chip existed. I should have got all his stuff.
City, right?
Yeah, and so he was a big Hulk Hogan fan. And because I would just, when I created characters, I would just go around to thrift stores, and I found this Chip shirt. It said Chip, but it was a Chevron shirt. Speaking of Chevron, the other one was Mobile, actually. And that is the original short film I shot, was Chip in a Chevron shirt. I just basically guerrilla theatered, I just, without any asking permission or anything, I just went to a Chevron with the shirt and just helped people at the self thing. They thought I was an employee. They thought I was like, oh, he's a little special kid that they're just letting work here. And I'm like, check your tire pressure. No, tap the trunk. I'm going to check the oil. No, that's okay. Like, they would let me do the tire pressure. And I had a bucket for the washing the windows, but we purposely made it was just muck and oil. And I'm literally making their windows dirtier. They'd be like, thank you. Oh, they look so clean. Yeah, they're clean. They're really good now. And of course they tipped me too. So I was making money and shooting the short at the same time, because they feel bad. Hey, it's $2. But no one would let me get that trunk. They'd be like, no, it's okay. Yeah, check the oil. Because I would have messed up.
Oh my God.
So I went in full. I decided he was a Hulk Hogan fan, because it was just that period of like, there's these kind of waves that happen at thrift stores. If anybody knows about constantly going to thrift stores, you kind of see it's almost like rings in a tree, because empty nesters get rid of their kids' crap. There's almost this sort of like, hey, Pokemon. There's a 6-month period of Pokemon stuff. There's the first Nintendo consoles. They don't just trickle in. It's like they get rid of them all. There's this kind of ring of pop culture that you can find. And at that time in thrift stores, there was a whole bunch of original WWE, not WWF, WWE, like Roddy Piper or, Macho Man or the Hulk Hogan stuff. But Hulk Hogan stuff was everywhere. It was Hulkamaniac shirts. And I got a Hulkamaniac hat. And I had the satin jacket that had Hulk's picture on the back. And I had shorts, I had socks. It was just everything Hulk. I had one of those fanny packs with Hulk on, Hulkamaniac fanny pack. And I think I have that stuff up in the attic. And you can see I'm a hoarder. So what was I going to get at there? Yeah, I went in and they just said, all you have to do is meet Keenan. Keenan just has to sign off on you. We pitched you. We said, we've got the guy that's going to play Doofy. He's perfect. And I went in as full Doofy. And I didn't do the lines. I was just fucking with them. And one of the friends in my neighborhood, Chip is a conglomeration of 3 characters. Well, Doofy's a conglomeration of 3 characters, which is this guy, Tony Radio, this guy, Adam, and this other guy, Bruce, in my neighborhood. And Bruce was a Philadelphia Phillies fan. And he'd always come up, and we'd be taking skateboard breaks, and he'd come up, and I'll do this thing here thing. And he'd shove this under your nose, and it smelled like his ass. And he'd be like, give me 5. How about those Phillies? And we'd be like, dude, get your hand out of my face, And he'd laugh, high five. And so that's kind of how that Doofy smell my finger thing came about. But I did that because I did that to Keenan. I shoved my hand in my ass before in the parking lot. I was just riding really good. And then I was like, yeah, good to meet you, man. Give me 5. Give me 5. Yeah. And he'd be like, what the fuck? And I fucked around a little bit. And he was like, thank you. Go. And he immediately called New York being like, what the fuck did you send me? What the fuck? That guy fucked up. And they were like, what are you talking about? You just sent me a dude. He just walked in here, didn't do the lines. He just walked around and shoved the fucking shit hand under my nose. And I didn't have a cell phone at the time. This was 98.
Yeah. Pager, probably.
I had a pager, and I saw it was a New York number. I was like, oh, crap. I knew it was them. So I thought they were going to say, he loved you. He loved you. But I pulled in, and it was like $2.50 in quarters, to call New York on a payphone. And they were like, what the fuck did you do? I was like, what are you talking about? It was great. Yeah, I go, it was awesome. I had a great performance. I go, no, he thinks you're actually, you have
physically challenged.
Yeah, you're mentally
physically challenged.
And so they said, you have to go back there right now. We told him to wait. We're sending you back. You got to go back there as Dave. And so I was like, okay. And I was about 3 blocks away. So I went back, and he was laughing. He thought it was great. And that's actually what sold him on it. He was like, dude, if you could come in here and do that to me, I want you in the movie, because that means you're going to commit, because I'm going to have you. He didn't tell me. By the way, the jerking off with the vacuum, that's not in the script. That was like a rope-a-dope where I came in, they're like, we need you to come in early. I go, for what? Oh, no, Keenan wants to talk to you. And they had Doofy's room, and the vacuum was there, and I was like, what's going on? He goes, we got another scene. We couldn't put it in the script. We didn't want to upset people. Really, they knew they didn't want me to be like, what's going on with that? So, and he said, there comes a time in a career, and yours is going to be now on your first film. You might as well do it, where you have to commit, and you got to be brave and do something totally embarrassing for the art of comedy. And so I want you to stick your penis in that vacuum here. And it was kind of like a creepy, sort of Eyes Wide Shut meets Boogie Nights, because normally in a film, when like, say Shannon Elizabeth gets naked in the, like she's naked in the shower scene, they call it clear the set. It's called a locked set, where only the sound guy, the camera guy, the director, the makeup people, and everyone, once it's set, they got to go out, and then the bell will ring and they'll come back in. But if an actress is naked, they usually get they don't want the Teamsters in there being like, I don't got nothing to do, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but mine wasn't, they didn't go, oh, we got to clear the set. Dave's going to put his wiener in the thing. It was the opposite. It was like, everyone heard about it. And so like, everyone was like,
everyone was there.
Had people hanging out. There was people there, like, they brought like a school in for like a field day, I was like, what's going on here, Oh, this guy is the mayor, and he owns the thing, and he said his kids could come, and they were going moose hunting, so they got a moose, and because we shot in Canada, there was lumberjacks there with the axes, and it was like, so that was it. In front of a bunch of people. Yeah.
That's commitment. You must have
brought me to you.
You've had to crack up, like you've had to have definitely scenes where you couldn't keep it in, like the laughter.
Yeah, I'm pretty good about it, because usually I'm on the making people laugh scene. The other actors,
you're probably dying. Yeah.
I hate. Yeah. Oh man, I just did one where I watched the playback, and the camera guy, because I'm improvising this stuff, and you hear, and hopefully it's just there is called camera audio, where and that's like a source for them to definitely make sure that it's a lot easier now for them to sync up. They don't even need to do this anymore, really, because there's a software you pop it in, and if there's camera audio, the whole thing will just line up.
Yeah.
And there's drift anyway and stuff like that. So I hear him, the camera guy, it's like shaking. He's like, and I'm like, like the camera guy, that guy should go, no, I got to make sure I got the shot. But when people break outside of the thing, I have actresses and stuff laugh. And sometimes I think that the times where I've had the giggles and I have is the longer nights.
Oh, yeah, because you're like sleep deprived.
Yeah, and that's when you start laughing, but you're not laughing because it was funny. You're just laughing at something made us laugh, but it's not even worthy of how much.
Yeah.
And that's when like, the sound guy's being like, he's tired. His arms feel like rubber bands right now, and he's just like, stop fucking laughing, you spoiled actors, So anyway, yeah.
Wow. And That's so funny, especially too because Scary Movie was like Anna Faris's one of her first movies too. So that's awesome. You guys were all young, like that was like 20 years ago. I still can't believe it. It's been 20 years. It's
but
crazy.
Anna Faris was definitely the youngest. I think she was 18, and she did stuff in that film very ballsy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
She did what she needed to do for her career. Like it worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if she didn't commit to getting splooged up on the ceiling, you know what I mean? Like that was like something that was like, oh my God, I'm doing what? And I applaud her for that.
Yeah, that movie's definitely something special. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, the original title from like the original 1996 Scream was Scary Movie, and they changed to Scream. And I kind of found it kind of cool how they ended up calling Scary Movie because it's a spoof of Scream and like all the like I Know You Did Last Summer and all those, and they called it the original title that Scream was supposed to be.
Yeah, you know how that came about was so the Weinsteins. Look, they're one of the reasons they had success was they really connected with the lowest common denominator. So they really did relate to sort of like a general, when one of the things that people, by the way, another aspect, remember how you were saying character actor, and I said, oh, what a character actor really is Steve Buscemi is a character actor because
I know
has voice thing
all the time.
The guy, and I said, who did I just say? Danny
Trejo. Yeah.
As a character actor. Edward James Olmos was a character actor. He had the face, but he also had the voice. I'm Edward James Olmos. Edward James Olmos. That's actually deeper, isn't he? I'm Edward James Olmos. Yeah. So the other thing was broad comedy. Yeah, and I didn't know this until I got into the business. When people say, "Oh, it's a broad comedy," you think that means like it's big and slapsticky, right?
Yeah.
But really, what broad means is like a broad spectrum, and it's a comedy that is meant to sort of service various aspects of comedic. Like there'll be things that are heady jokes, and there's physical comedy, and there's slapstick, and there's boobs and TNA or whatever. It's really a broad comedy is what reaches a broader audience. It's not how big or crazy or stupid the thing is. You know what I mean? So like Dumb and Dumber is a broad comedy because it was connected to people, but it's not a broad comedy because how they're playing the characters all big. I thought it was a broad comedy was like bigger stuff, like goofier, not as grounded. But a broad comedy is things that go out to a wider spectrum. And the Weinsteins understood this. They had a really good knack for understanding larger audiences and the general audience. And so for years, he wanted a scary movie. He's the one that was fighting for it to be called Scary Movie, the original Scream. No, scary movie. No. It's dumb sounding. So when they had the opportunity to do this film, Scary Movie, he finally got his way to make it Scary Movie. But that's not what's on the back of my chair. So my chair says Doofy, and then on the other side, it says Scream, If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. So when we shot the film.
Oh, that was the original title?
Yeah, the original title was Scream, If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. And so I still have that too.
I didn't know that.
And then when it was released as Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was funny was that song we recorded had a chorus in it of Scream, If You Know What I Did Last Halloween, because it actually rhymes. So they got rid of that because that wasn't the title anymore. But it had a cool little hook, like a chorus hook of Scream, If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. Yeah. So.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know about that title change.
Yeah.
For you
know nothing. You know nothing. You don't even know when my battery's going to die. I'm not going to tell you.
I know. Hopefully not.
Again, if my voice turns like the killer, we know it's time to go.
Exactly. I was gonna say we're gonna end off here soon. So I appreciate everyone that has been tuning in. It's been really fun talking to you, Dave. You're an interesting.
Look, I'm really red. Do I look red to you?
You actually don't. No.
Okay, good. No, I don't look red then. I'm not red.
No.
I was out moving stones all day. from my backyard to my front yard. So.
Oh yeah, what actually, what do you do on your spare time? Like when you're home when you're not working in film, what do you do for like your hobbies and interests or like,
Well,
you have kids,
yeah, my hobby and interest is sleeping, and I don't get to do that, which kind of sucks. And jerking off while in my sleep or just kind of waking up and then going back to sleep. That's my hobby. I don't look this young without a lot of sleep, so I do enjoy sleeping. But no, well, first of all, I have kids. They get me up. These dogs get me up. But I'm building a pool right now.
That's cool.
And I still have to finish the house. I got trim to do in the house, 2 fireplaces I need to do tile on, and I was supposed to do the closets, everyone's closets, like I was gonna do rebuild their closets and the doors and the bathroom, but I gutted stuff. I could walk him at. You want to see it? I can show you. My kids are living on plywood, in the bathrooms because I'm supposed to do tile, and I have stacks of tile and I've got plywood. And
at least you're a handyman.
Huh?
At least you're a handyman. You know how to do that.
Yeah, well, I've been shooting it. I've been shooting the whole thing as a TV show called Screw It Yourself, where I do, instead of do it yourself, and it's with myself and my wife, just really messing things up, and it's in learning from our mistakes, but also showing the pimples and showing the realities of some of these makeover shows, because they'll, oh, we're gonna do this kitchen, and then it's the kitchen, and then if you decide to do it, it's like, wait a second. How do you order cabinets? How do you get the cabinet? How long does it take the cabinets to be put in? Are you going to put the cabinets in yourself?
Yeah.
Well, which I did, and then I show people how to properly put the cabinets in myself, but also I fail at it. I correct a lot of my mistakes, which I don't want to do. It just happens anyway, so it's part of the show, but you're naturally going to do that. What I don't show people in the show just yet is everything I do. I watch several YouTube videos. There's so much on YouTube. Like, crown molding. And I find various videos on crown molding or how to change out the hot water heater. And, but I don't want to show other people's things. So I just rephrase how you do it and I try to do it. But I certainly have to educate myself. So I do that through the YouTube videos. Everything's, I love YouTube because of that. My kids love watching mindless crap on YouTube, but YouTube is awesome for that whole, like,
how to.
For instance, Instagram. Like on Facebook, you can download a photo off of someone's thing. Oh, there's a photo of me. I can grab.
Yeah.
I can grab photos off of Twitter, but I didn't know how to grab photos off of Instagram. And I watched the video, and now I know how to do it. Where you hit like a developer. There's a No, it's in your thing. You can hit a developer app in your Safari or your Chrome.
Oh.
It brings up the code. So you see all the HTML.
Oh, yeah.
And then as you scroll down it highlights everything on the Instagram page, and it'll highlight the photo, and then you click it and then open in a new tab. And then now it's the photo and you can do it. So
I used to do that before I found out about like how to do the apps. I don't see the apps now. I just find it's quicker. But I used to do that too. Inspect the elements of the file.
Yeah, elements. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I just did that last night but I knew. Tell me, do you have to pay for the app?
No, it's free.
What's the app called?
I'll look right now on my phone.
Yeah, because I knew there'd be an app too, but I'm also,
It's called Insta Take Download. It's INSTAKE and then download. I got it from the Google Play Store, so I don't know if it's on like iTunes because I don't use Apple.
I'll check it out because basically that thing is written to do exactly the physical stuff we
just copy the link from the post, copy it there, then it'll download the picture to your phone. It's really simple.
Perfect. I love it.
Now we're gonna end off here quickly, but I want to know for other actors or people that want to get into the industry, like what's some
I'll stop you right there. Don't.
No.
Let me finish, Steven. You're Steven, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
I don't know if you want to do it. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, everyone out there. I know we're live. So if you want to get into the business, especially if you want to get into acting, don't do it. I don't need young, talented people climbing up my back. Okay. I'm struggling. So right now, don't do it. Stay out of my lane. Don't. Okay.
More work for you.
That's my pitch. No, what was the question? How do you do it?
when you were younger, right, getting to the industry, what's a piece of advice you would give your younger self getting into it that you wish you knew beforehand?
My name's Dave Sheridan. It's an Irish name. I should have been David Bernstein, and then I think I would be much higher up. Like changing, become a Jewish name, you're going to move much faster in Hollywood. It is truthful. I'm just telling you. But that's a joke too. At the same time, that's not a Hollywood joke. I don't know. I'm a different. I can't give myself a lot of advice. I'm a different cookie. If I gave myself advice, you're saying future me coming back?
Yeah.
When I had my show at MTV, I thought it was cool not to do press. I thought like, we're not like, no way. I'm not doing talk shows. I'm not going to do magazine articles. And it was like some guy from Rolling Stone came in to interview us and we kicked him out. Me and the other guys were like, we literally accosted him and go, get the fuck out. We don't do articles, right? And then MTV flipped out and they're like, we're never sending anyone to you again, then assholes, you know. And people were like, what was the show, Buzzkill? And I go, they never heard of it because we didn't do an article in Rolling Stone and all those other things. So good press. There's good press and bad press. And like they say, there's no bad press. All press is good press. So, basically, if you take everything, I've turned down a lot of movies early on that were, I wouldn't say I could retire on them, but after Scary Movie, I'm just saying right after Scary Movie, at that point, there was things coming at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, wait a second. I need to protect my vision. I'm an artist. Because you have to understand, I was coming from creating these characters and I had a show and everything I did myself.
Yeah.
And so I thought I could believe it that the machine doesn't, they're not kind to the individual artist that wants to row his own boat. And so if you're powerless, you got to wait till you get the power. Play the game until you get the power. Then you can start rowing your own boat. And I didn't do that. And I turned down a lot of stuff. And the studios got upset that I was turning stuff down.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, that actually changed the trajectory of my career because I was making a joke about young people coming up.
Yeah. Of course.
You have a window. And if you don't take that opportunity in the window, it gets filled because there's a dime a dozen. There's a million Dave Sheridans. You know what I'm saying? There's a million. I'm not that talented. I'm not that good looking. There's nothing unique about anyone, whether it's Brad Pitt, Leonardo. There's people you run into go, you kind of look like Brad Pitt. There's probably people just as talented as Tom Cruise. You know, he plays 1 to 3 off himself. You know what I mean? So you do need don't think you're so special. And this goes for the writing. I've written a lot of scripts that I didn't sell, but I worked with partners and they were turning it down. No, I'm not gonna have them. I don't like their notes. We're quitting. I'm taking my script back. And I was like, dude, they're gonna make the film. No. And so don't hold your own stuff in an egotistical way that you feel it's so special. Because you should it's a privilege to get your stuff made and get your stuff out there, even if it's only 75% of what your voice is. Because there's a higher power that maybe said, right now it's 75%, and believe it or not, there's 25% they're adding in is going to make it better. You know what I mean? There's access, but you should definitely know that, like, if you have an opportunity to get on that stage, it's like that Eminem song. You know what I mean? You got one shot. You know, like it really is. I listen to that, and I go, oh man, that guy wrote that way. My career was over with by the time I heard that. I go, oh, if I had that song, I would have known. You know.
The thing is too, I think you really gotta love it. Like I like the motto where people are like, you know, if you're working, it's like you never work a day in your life because you like the job so much. It's not really work to you. You have to really enjoy it because, like, I learned a lot from doing my first film, but I enjoyed the process and I enjoyed working on set. So it's like I'm already looking for gigs to do next year to direct. So it's like I enjoyed it. It's even if it's a passion for a while before it turns into like a full career. It's like as long as you enjoy it, just do it.
That's true, and I hope, and it would be great if everybody found what that would be in their life, their calling, so to speak. Because definitely, my brain is scattered all the time. But when I'm on set and I'm acting and I'm in one of these characters, I'm
your
so
element.
focused and I feel like the car's driving itself. And when I get off that and I'm Dave, I'm uncomfortable in my body. I'm shy. I'm kind of a recluse. I don't live in Hollywood. I moved away. So I enjoy doing tile. You know, like tile is great. The best way to do tile, by the way, is you put on 80s. You know, you put on 80s montage music.
Yeah.
And while you're doing the tile, it goes so much quicker because you feel like you're just in the montage part of the movie and
Exactly.
you got the tile done. And you can do stuff, fun stuff. You're putting paint on each other and the ground's getting messy because you're laughing. It's an 80s montage. You know what I mean? So that's tile. There's my tile tip. But in terms of passion, yeah, you got to follow your passion. It'd be good to find a job you like to do and enjoy that job. Enjoy the fact that you're doing it and don't ever think it's a burden and that it's a job. However, I had a friend who loved fishing. He loved fishing. He'd fish every day, He finally got a job on a fishing charter boat. And once he was forced to have to fish for 12 hours with other people doing their thing, he came back about a month later going, I hate fishing now. And he kind of, so there is some, I'm just letting you know, I know a guy that did find his perfect job, that this is what I love to do. And then because it became his work, he hated it.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense in a way.
Yeah. So I don't know which way to go on that. All I know is just be committed. One thing, if you're in this business on any level, especially on the writing side or the acting side, it's a lot of rejection.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's a lot of, you don't think you're making it, but you are. So be patient. And I like when I audition still, but not that often, but I do. If somebody calls me and it's a big enough thing. And I look at auditions as mini performances.
Yeah.
Because when I'm parking the car and learning the lines, and then it's 20 minutes of sitting in the room, and if you look around and you see some familiar faces that are other actors, and you go, I'm not that special. Wait, you all do look the same. If you let yourself get into that, you'll be crushed. So instead, I look at it like I'm backstage, and I'm getting called up to do a one-man performance to a private party. You know what I mean? And I go, and that's how I look at it. I try to train my mind that it's a little mini stage performance. And then, you know, I didn't get paid, but that's the way I look at it. And I think it at least it helps my anxiety and my nerves. I don't know if I'm booking any more roles out of that, but I'm not feeling as used. When you walk out going, you know, oh, I didn't get it. And I'm in a room with like guys wearing doofy. Like, you know, they're wearing doofy 2020 shirts. And I'm like, I'm not so special, you know? So.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of nasty people you meet, but also very nice people, and you're going to face rejection, obviously, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever fanboyed while meeting anybody, like a celebrity admired?
I did see that was one of your questions. So what's funny is, obviously, I do meet a lot of...
So many people.
Yeah. Most of the time, I know I'm going to meet them. So that movie's produced by John Malkovich. Hey, John wants to go have dinner with you at whatever that, you know, Chateau, whatever the place where John Belushi ended up dying. After I met with John Belushi and Johnny Depp at this restaurant. You know, Chateau, whatever that one is. And I knew I was going to meet those guys. So there's no, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, whoa. So... Or I used to go trick-or-treating with Arnold Schwarzenegger like 3 times because his cousin or his nephew was a friend of mine, and I was friends with him and his kids. And then Arnold would pop in and I'm going to walk around with you, you know, and he was the governor at that time. He had the governor shirt. So I knew he was coming.
He was the governor. He
had this leather jacket with the California thing, because that's when I was doing that. He was the governor at the time.
Yeah.
So those things don't, like, you know, you're kind of prepared. You know what I mean? You did a movie with Beyonce Knowles. It's like, I wasn't like, oh my God. Or if you're on set, anyone that shows up, I don't get shocked at. So the one that was the fanboy moment that I really remember, where I kind of like, why the fuck did I just do that? Right? Was I used to work out in Venice Beach at a gym called World's Gym. And it was owned by Joe Gold. So Gold's Gym, Joe Gold started Gold's Gym. Then he sold that for a lot of money. And he had a non-compete clause, but he started World's Gym. And so he had the sort of the world's gyms everywhere around the country at one point, but the world's gym in Venice was like the Muscle Beach OG place where Arnold would work out there, you know, and professional wrestlers would work out there. The guys that were competitive, I'd see everybody, and nothing really shocked me there, except I was driving home one night and I knew they were closed, and I became friends. That's how I met Patrick Schwarzenegger, because he worked there. And I became friends with the guys that just at the desk, because Joe Gold was still alive and he would bust my balls and stuff. He was the last of like the Muscle Beach guys, with a few of the older. They were all like 85 years old, hanging out in this little. That was their clubhouse.
Yeah.
Then they didn't ever make me pay. I didn't have to pay for a membership, and I don't think they certainly weren't making Arnold pay or anybody. I don't know if he charged a lot of people, because that was like that was the office, that was the headquarters. So it was just sort of like, you know, if he liked you, he let you work out there. So I was driving by and I saw the lights on, and I was like, oh, it's like 10:30. It should be closed. So I saw a limousine in the thing, a stretch limousine. So I go, wait, who's in there? And I went and looked, and luckily the door was open. Or maybe the janitor, this guy Billy, who, if anybody knows World's Gym, you'll know who I'm talking about. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get into another story. But basically, through the two doors, and I think it was open, was Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan was laid on his stomach, and he was wearing like yellow spandexy pants, like tight, like his ass was there. And it wasn't like I'm in sweatpants. He was in like form-fitting kind of clothes. And he's doing like that thing where he's on his stomach and there was like this thing with the weights. So it is like the butt thing. You know what I mean? It's a totally prone Hulk Hogan. And I was like, oh my God, it's Terry. And Terry's his name. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like Terry Hogan. So I opened up and this was after Doofy. This was after Chip, where I had the Hulk Hogan stuff. So, and I never met him. And I was like, Terry. And he was like, and so, he's doing the thing like, and his ass is, he looks at me, and he said the thing. I go, Terry. And he was like, hey. And I was like, how you doing? It's Doofy. And he's like, and he's like crunching, like, oh, cool, man. I go, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm going to LAX. I'm catching a flight. I just wanted to get a workout in, like before he left to LAX, which was in Marina Del Rey. And I was like, cool. And I think I might have said, you need any help? You need a spot? I'm good, dude. I'm good, bro. You know what I mean? Just keep it real. Hulkamaniac. Like he really was into, when he turned and saw, he didn't know who I was. Like, he was scared of me is what I'm saying, because was I a dude off the street? And I was. And I was like, Terry. So, but I did know people there. I wasn't, if like one of my buddies was there, I probably wouldn't have flipped out like that. I probably would have said, oh, dude, and like, can I say hi to him? Because I would meet people.
Yeah.
But that was a weird one. So maybe Hulk will see this and go, I remember that freako. Yeah.
Man, have you ever thought of writing like a book of your like life stories?
Yeah, the book will come out in 2075. Can we go back to the ADHD? I got Paul. I'm going to have Paul write my book here.
Yeah, Paul. The book is going to be dedicated to Paul.
Yeah. I probably should because
you're such an interesting guy to talk to. I mean,
no, I'm not.
You are.
Not according to my wife.
Well, she's probably used to it.
Yeah, of course. I would say right now, I've been doing a lot of movies with Felissa Rose. She's kind of like I'm not. She's the producer on these movies. But I'd like to be a producing partner.
Right.
She's kind of like my manager, because she puts me. I should be paying her 10% on top of that. But I'm really indebted to her, because, quite frankly, she's the one that's been putting me in these films.
Yeah.
Low budget movies. But she isn't like, oh, Dave would be perfect for this. She sees a role and says, Dave, this role you haven't done before. I want you to test yourself. You know what I'm saying? So she's the one that's been like, she's saying, I know you can do this. You're going to be great. I had to convince the other producers, but I got you the lead role as the cop, the good looking cop. I got you. You're the main bad guy in this. You know what I mean? So she's getting me roles that other people probably wouldn't have given me a chance. And so that's the stuff that's rolling out right now.
Yeah.
There's a movie that you can rent called The Special. It's a small little movie, but it's a great film. I play the sidekick buddy, but it's kind of grounded. You can go see a movie called Spy Intervention, I think is on Netflix. And I have a smaller role in that, but it's a really, really soft, unassuming character, which I'm not used to playing. Killer Rose is coming out in December. Camp Twilight is out. Look, I don't know if they're going to see this. Hey, I'll be honest. I shoot some bad movies now too. Low budget bad movies. That one does. I don't think that one works all that well. It's nobody's fault. It's just that some things, sometimes it's just a collective thing of not. But my role in the character in my scenes. I have like 4 or 5 scenes. They're actually they cracked me up. I thought they're really funny. So if you do watch it, just watch it for my roles, or just wait for the thing to come out and find my roles on YouTube.
Because you work with Felissa so many times. I actually had Felissa on the show. I did a sleepaway camp reunion with her and a couple others from this movie.
Oh, cool, yeah.
But she's so nice. But one movie I want to see is Screen Test.
Yeah, that's the one where I play the cop. I play not a retired cop, but a cop that killed a kid, and he's been sent. He's on RI. Like he's suspended, and there's an investigation. And he's on this island because he's having a PTSD thing for killing this kid who didn't have a gun. You know what I mean? And he shot this boy. And he doesn't want to be near guns anymore and stuff like that. And she also comes to the island because she blew her throat out at Screen Test because she's like a scream queen. And in this scene at the beginning, she loses her voice. And they send her to this kind of, meta spa island where don't talk for a couple weeks. There's no cell phones on this island. You can relax. No one's going to know who you are. And it's kind of like a 10 Little Indians thing is everyone's got reasons to kill the people that are getting killed. It's not a slasher movie. It's kind of a whodunit movie, like a Clue and the other Knives Out. It's like a Knives Out thing, but a lower budget. And it's pretty good. And I obviously play the detective. I become, we have that sort of tension happening where, they're going to get together at the end.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the hero. He was going to save the damsel in distress. Maybe. Like I'm saying, there's always the one thing about a Felissa Rose movie is there's always a twist. There's always a dangling Chad at the end of her film, so to speak, as you know from Sleepaway Camp. So just so you think you know where this film's going. But it was a movie where it's like she's like, Dave, no goofy glasses. No, I want you to show people that you're a decent looking guy and play yourself. And so I'm a version of myself, but I'm a cop obviously, but
Did you guys meet on Victor Crowley? Like, was that your first movie you worked on together?
That was our first film. But we met at Days of the Dead in 2015. We were both signing briefly. Like when I don't know people, I also, again, like I said, I have ADHD. And I'm very locationally challenged. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's from hunting all my life, but I like to know my surroundings. I like to know where the exits are, the staircases, the fire, whatever it is. Well, there's a fire extinguisher there. So when I go to those conventions, I like to walk around the whole thing. I don't just go to my room, the one room where I'm signing. You go, I never went to the vendor room. You know what I mean? So I kind of like to know where everything is. In that case, if there's some crazy, like a fan like you, and you're just some lone shooter, and you're, like they didn't check that cosplay gun, and it's real, then I know how to get the heck out of there and save a bunch of lives. No, I'd probably be the first one out the door, but either way. So I met her. I just was, if I don't know someone, I'll say, hey, what's up? I'm Dave. I'm at this thing, and I'm signing at this day. It was so brief. She might not remember that, but I remember it. But the Victor Crowley was the first time we actually spent a lot of time in, pee-filled water in a fake submerged airplane, with really cold water and wet all night.
I look forward to seeing that movie. I have to watch it still, but I've seen.
You didn't see that film? Oh, you didn't see that film?
I've seen the first 2, but I haven't seen the 3rd or the 4th. But I want to. It's on my list.
You could, if you wanted to, you could skip the 3rd. A lot of the third is not a slasher movie. It's a gunplay movie. It's kind of, you know, I mean, it does change. Third doesn't really fit because Adam Green didn't direct it. I think he wrote it, but he didn't direct it. Victor Crowley is almost like a reboot in two ways. One, now, granted, it's nothing like any of the other ones because it takes place on this crashed airplane and stuff like that. But it is more comedic.
Yeah.
It's more like the original one, the first one. It kind of has that tone. And the other thing is about the reboot is that's why it's called Victor Crowley. And in some territories, it's Hatchet 4.
Yeah.
But the reason why he branded it Victor Crowley was because, you know, the killers are the main thing. So people know Michael Myers, people know Jason. And I think Adam wanted to make sure that he gave Victor Crowley a better platform so that it became something a little bit more substantial in the field of killers. And so it was better to lead with Victor Crowley and have that starting to be the marketing thing, you know? So
Yeah, most definitely. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But everybody, I mean, we've been out for almost 2 hours, so wasn't originally intended. But Dave, I appreciate you taking the time and chatting. It's been really fun. And everybody, make sure I left the link below to Dave's social media. Make sure you go pick up one of those shirts. Help support a good cause and charity.
It's doofy2020.com. And also we have a podcast myself, my
David,
partner, David Creech.
Talk a little bit about that before we close off here.
Yeah. Well, it's a David Creech show. We were doing a lot more early on when it first started. And then now it's got to be, I have to have the time because now we're going to move into the StreamYard thing as well.
Yeah.
Because well, like you saw with the Sex Drive reunion, like I like that. So like now that we've been doing the StreamYard, we'll probably get on more, but it's really when I have the time and if there's something to talk about, you know, like because it's difficult because I'm on podcasts and at the same time, it's weird for me to say, hey, to like Felissa or someone, come on my podcast because I talk to you all the time. Do I really want to talk to you again on StreamYard? You know, so I like it to when somebody comes at me and I haven't had a chance to chat with them to get to know them because really these interviews are just now you know me a lot better.
Exactly.
You know? So.
Exactly. Creech, he's in the. Is that his first name or last name?
I can't. No comment. Can't tell you.
Okay. No comment. Okay. I'll call him Creech.
It's his last name. It's his last name. His real name is CJ Creech, but he goes by Creech. Yeah. He
says, ask about the crack hotel we filmed Scream Test at.
Yeah, it was called the Winter Haven in Florida, and I had construction. I've got videos where like my call time. I was like, oh, I get to sleep in tomorrow. My call time's at 11:30, but the construction at the hotel starts at 6:30, and they were redoing the roof, and it was like, like while I was trying to get sleep, I was like, I'm up. It was. There was a guy. There was 2 people that died in the parking lot from overdosing. It was it was a little scary. And it wasn't even the worst hotel I've ever stayed in shooting movies. I think there's been 2 other ones that have been a little bit. I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to say the names of those either. I mentioned the name of that hotel. I probably shouldn't have because the people that bought it and they're fixing it up. Very nice family. And while we were there, they were fixing up stuff. And like, the room was nice. She was in the remodel room. I was in the room that was getting remodeled. I had 2 workers in my room. You know, like it wasn't like, room service. It was more like jackhammer. We're knocking the wall down. You know what I'm saying? Like, while you're in the room, like, hold on, let me move my bag. I didn't know you were taking this drywall out right now. Yeah.
That sounds rough.
I did know, by the way, because Creech came down to do interviews for our podcast. He drove down, and I guess he's watching this. I knew he would mess with me. And this other guy, Paul, because they did that the last time they came down to Florida and we shot. So I purposely gave him the wrong room, like two rooms over. And so like, they were banging on that door like at 2 in the morning, and it wasn't my room. I don't know who was in it, but so I apologize, Creech, but that's what you get. So.
That's hilarious. messing around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Creech. And also, I have currently in the description, I have David's Instagram and Twitter. After we close off here, I'm going to add the link to the website to buy a shirt and all that stuff. And I'm also going to add the link below afterwards so you guys can watch the Dave and Creech show. They post different interviews and all that fun stuff. I'm going to finish watching the interview for Sex Drive because I just watched for the first time today. So I'm going to finish watching the commentary or, the interview you guys do with the cast reunion. So I'm looking forward to
there's some cool stuff in there. I think the most interesting thing in that is when I did the Macho Man Randy Savage. You can tell I'm a wrestling fan, by the way. So, and Creech is really a wrestling fan. He's really into it. Like weird. This is great. I can talk about it. He can't do anything. He's like, what?
How'd you meet Creech? Like, how long have you known Creech for?
2015. So it's been 5 years. And I met him because at the time he had Creech's Questions. He had his own podcast, and I was booked on his podcast for the Walking Deceased, which was a Walking Dead spoof. But he was down in the Atlanta area in South Carolina. So he was really focused on the Walking Dead was very popular at the time. So his show had like 80% Walking Dead based stuff. And so when I was on a Cub Scout trip to South Carolina to like the York, USS York or something like that. It's like a aircraft carrier. And we took the Cub Scouts to sleep on it. I knew that was where he lived. So I said, let's go meet for dinner. And I wanted to do a podcast because people tell me I like to talk. So I said, this is great. My wife said, I heard you can go talk to a camera and not me. And so I said, this is great. Yeah, I'll go sit in a room and just chat for a couple hours. What I probably should do this. What if I was like really nervous? This is just nervous, like a nervous thing, but it looks like, see that in the camera? It's like, but I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm nervous, right? But it's like, hey, what's up? Yeah. And so that would look really weird, wouldn't it? Like, oh man, and I just like to talk and stuff like that. It's like that guy in CNN that was like, that's totally great. I might do that on some of these Zooms for now. I'm like, anyway, yeah, man. But then show that there's nothing there. Like, I have to get up a couple times. Like, okay, so I got crumbs everywhere. Anyway, listen.
Get the vacuum next time. Oh my god.
That's how I met him, and I said, man, I would love to do a talk show, and I can bring more guests on.
Yeah.
So why don't we team up? And you do the heavy. He does the heavy lifting. He's like on your side. He edits it or puts it together or gets the StreamYard links and gets involved with people. But so that's how it started. And then we don't do it on. We're not consistent enough. If people are interested in maybe having Dave and Creech become a podcast, maybe in a bigger way, because I do like doing it. But right now it's more like when we have time. Like with this Doofy 2020, I've been focusing on that. In fact, if you go to our Instagram or in Twitter, but I'm loving Instagram right now. It just feels good to me. I'm not going to go to TikTok. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not going to shake my ass and and be this like Owen Beck or whatever that guy's name is, where he's like, they're always doing this. They put filters on their face and I went on the TikTok, my daughter's TikTok, and they had like filters, and I put it on, and I looked like that Jeffree Star guy or what? Not Jeffree Star, James Charles. I looked like because it really stretched me and like put a filter on my face for the eyes. I was like, man, I look like James Charles. Of course, she was like, no, you don't. No, I did. I look like James Charles. Did I get into the part where Kevin Spacey didn't ask me to sleep with him? Right? We talked about that.
Yeah.
And I had this moment of depression because it wasn't. I go, wait, I think I'm decent looking enough for Kevin Spacey, right? I mean, come on. I should have had a little. He should have grabbed my thigh at one point and I could put you in a movie. And then so that I realized if it's not the looks, then it's my talent. Then it's my acting ability. He was like, I will take any decent looking guy and put him in a movie, but you're a terrible actor. Like, that's what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? And my head was spinning, going like, I've never been asked. I don't have that Me Too moment. Like, because I think my joke is there that they have a bar. You still have to have some sort of talent. You know what I mean? But they don't really have a bar. They're terrible people.
No, they are. And that was when that announcement came out about him, I was very shocked because he's been in so much, especially what was the show he was so popular in? Was it House of Cards?
Yeah, House of Cards.
Yeah.
House of Cards, where he molests the Secret Service worker. Yeah, okay, yeah, like that was really self-referential. People are like, because you asked me about the Weinsteins, I know the Kevin Spacey stuff I know about too.
Yeah.
Everything in Hollywood is just an
Drama.
unspoken, huh?
Well, it's a lot of drama.
It's not drama, but it's sort of like you know it and you don't say anything. You know what I mean? You stay in your lane, and it's not, if I would support people if they said, hey, ask Dave, this happened, but I'm not gonna ruin an actress's career.
Yeah.
I called it out. That's up to them. That's their private information.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having a doctor's report. You don't go say who has herpes and who has I don't know, Parkinson's or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there's actors out there that are sick, like the Chadwick guy who had cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know him personally, so I didn't know about that. But there's other actors like Sid Haig was sick for a long time. But we don't talk about that. You know,
not a lot of people knew about that.
Yeah, no, but in our business we knew.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone knew. So yeah.
It's too bad. Rest in peace, Sid. I know. I haven't met him, but I heard nothing but good things about him. So it's cool that you got to work with him.
It was great working with him, and he was a staple at all the cons. And so I didn't do that many cons, but one of the things was always, I'm gonna get to say hi to Sid and just chat with him for a little bit, because he was always fun to chat with. And the same thing with Bill Moseley and stuff. They're always at these things. I look and go, great, Kane's gonna be there. Kane Hodder. That's good. I haven't seen him in a while, so.
Yeah, right. The regulars.
Yeah, exactly.
I met William Forsythe last year at Frightmare. He's a cool guy too.
Yeah, totally down.
Very nice.
Really down to earth. It's kind of weird actually, because was he wearing shorts and flip flops and like a
yes,
cap, right? Like,
oh wait, I might have been wearing track pants, but he was definitely wearing flip flops.
Yeah, I mean, like when he wears the shorts, he wears like baggy shorts, like soccer shorts, like runner shorts, and it's sort of like William Forsythe is like the tough guy, and it's like, but then he's there to meet people, and he's in shorts and like flip flops, and it's like, that's who he is. He really, that's him. You know what I mean? The tough guy is the actor side. Rob Zombie's the quietest person in the world. Totally quiet guy, normal guy, soft voice, and then you go and see him on stage, and he's like, he's jumping around, whatever. It's like, whoa, where does this come from?
That's crazy. It's interesting to learn about how people actually personally are, besides like what they put on stage or performances. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's sort of like I'm going to be doing. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. It's a surprise. I would say that I'm going to be. I don't know if they announced it. My next convention is Spooky Empire. It's December 12th and 13th. I think it's only 2 days, because these are like pop-up conventions. Because Spooky Empire is a giant thing. This is like Spooky Empire Junior or Son of Spooky Empire. Yeah, it's in Orlando. I don't know where they have the regular Spooky Empire.
It's usually in Orlando.
Okay, yeah, so that's where they're going to have it, and it'll be full of vendors, and it's going to be a smaller number of signees. But I think it's only for 2 days, and I'll be doing a video to announce that on like their Spooky Empire thing. But I don't want to give the video away. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, no worries. That's awesome. Looking forward to it. Well, if anyone would like to keep updated with what Dave's up to, all the links are down in the description below. Before I go, Dave, I just want to thank you again, because you've been a really cool person to chat with, and I've seen you in so many movies, and it's been interesting, learning more about you. Before we go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You need to watch Victor Crowley. I can't believe you haven't watched it.
I know, I will. I promise you, I will.
There's a surprise ending to that. I'm not going to give it away.
Well, I heard that he wants to make another one, so maybe that's ended up on a cliffhanger. We'll see. I'll have to watch it.
You'll see. I don't want to give it away since you haven't seen it. And the other thing is, on the Dave Sheridan Instagram site, there's two funny, like I said, you saw this thing, not getting this done. I shot these like campaign videos for the Doofy 2020 thing, and I was up. I played the Rose Bowl. Feliz and I, Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In. We shot this film, and then we play it, but we interact like in the parking lot and stuff like that. and we were there signing, and it was the Rose Bowl. I was like, oh, I got to go to the Rose Bowl. We were actually supposed to be in Indiana for Days of the Dead, but that got shut down. So then we committed to doing the Rose Bowl, and it was sold out, and it was a blast. But I didn't get home till like 5 a.m.
Oh shit!
And then I was up at 7 with these concrete guys pouring the pool, and then I was like, and Creech could attest to this. I'll show you a million things, dude. I'm gonna have that campaign video edited. I'm gonna have that campaign. This was supposed to be months ago or a month, like early. I shot this stuff in August, and I finally got it up the night of the campaign. To like these 2 videos. They're pretty good. And one of the things I felt bad about not getting done was we had a lot of fans, send in videos of I'm voting for Doofy. I'm voting for Doofy. And so I wanted to make sure that got done. And I stayed up for 2 days editing the stuff because of ADHD. And a normal editor would probably take an hour, but I'm, if you're on a computer, that's what editing equipment is. But guess what else is on there? The internet, YouTube, and like I'm editing stuff, and I need a sound. There's sound effects, and I rip that stuff off of YouTube. But then I'm also on YouTube going like, "Ooh, look at the cat! Oh, like this girl going, I've never seen a squirrel make this sound before," and I'm watching the squirrel now for like an hour. Oh, it's supposed to be editing,
Get carried away easily.
Yeah. So we're gonna do the promo here.
Yeah. So just state your name.
What do I gotta say here? Hold on. Go. Give it to me.
All right. Hold on. Let me put you on full screen. Hold on. Just state your name, and then say you're watching Geek Out Cinema.
Okay. Oh, so it's a video of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What up, people of the earth? We got Dave Sheridan here, and I'm in this weird room that my son goes to school in, and you're watching Geek Out Cinema.
That was perfect. That was awesome.
Let's do one more.
All right. What do you want to do, Doofy or the ghost face?
I'll do Ghostface. We'll do Doofy next time I'm on. You're going to have me back on when you watch some of these movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Maybe you should watch some of my movies before you have me on. This guy. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Now, this voice, the reason I can do Doofy all the time is this voice, he's at a lower whisper register. You know what I mean? I'm in the house. What's up? What's he like? Nothing. Just chilling, killing. I'm in the house. Do you know where I am? You're watching Geek Out Cinema. What do you think? You can use it. Use it.
That was pretty good.
I'm gonna part. He did that.
That was hilarious. You sound exactly the same.
I know. I keep smoking cigarettes to keep that voice. You know what I'm saying? This is so 80s. This is my bandana I wear. It was the dumbest bandana I saw. It was like at a 7-Eleven. It was literally like a Howdy Doody. I got this for Doofy because I thought Doofy would be what, you know what I mean? It's like a weird like country western dude ranch Howdy Doody thing. How do you wear that thing?
Yeah.
It looks like it's got horses on it and stuff.
That's funny.
It's something like Shaggy and Scooby would wear. Like, we're at the Dude Ranch. Zoinks! So, yeah, man, gets that time of the night. Did you know? Here's the thing. I'm not going to say it all now. So that's it. We're done. But let's have me back on. You watch the movies, and I'm going to tell you something I never told anybody about a scary movie, especially on a video. I might have done it on a podcast. But
wow, okay.
I'll show you. I'll also dig out that Scream. I know what you did last Halloween thing.
Yeah.
And, but I'm going to show you something that I could take off my shirt and show you guys. But I'm not going to do it. But we'll do it on the next one that nobody knows. And it's a little trivia fact about that film.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully sometime in the new year, we'll have you back on for sure. I'll be happy to speak with you again. And I'll email you once I watch Victor Crowley, and I'll let you know what I think of it. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I love Adam Green's work. And if you're in it, that's a bonus. And plus, Felicia's in it too. So how can you go wrong?
Awesome. I think we got all the movies that are out right now. I think I mentioned them all.
Oh, yeah.
If I miss one, I miss one. I'm in a lot. I haven't stopped working. That's a weird thing.
Go, guys. There are people that are watching. I left his IMDb below. Like he always has something in the work. So just
Yeah.
check him out
No,
there.
I'm just talking from my only downtime was maybe May to June. And I shot February, like January was that movie, Screen Test. And
Yeah.
then March through May, I was shooting for Pearson Educational. I was doing all these distant learning videos for them that they
Oh,
used at the schools. I was Mr. Moach, the learning coach, and then in June there was a little time off. But then Liz and I got going on we shot 2 films in Vegas. I shot a film in Virginia. We did a con in Tennessee. Yeah, it's been it's been crazier for her. She's torn all over.
everywhere, Felissa.
Yeah, yeah.
She's everywhere.
I know a lot of people are like, what about the COVID thing? But, we're essential. We're essential workers. We have to do what we got to do. You got to have some semblance of a regular life.
You have to take your precautions. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, if you're somebody that doesn't want to get sick or you're an older person, you have a responsibility to get out of the way. You lock yourself up and stay out of the way. And if it's somebody that, like for instance, the kids shouldn't suffer. My kids are out. My daughter hasn't stopped their cheerleading. She's got group classes. My son's playing baseball. He hasn't stopped playing baseball. They have play dates. They have sleepovers here. I'm not going to make the kids suffer when the kids are, they recover very fast from it, so they have it all. They probably already have had it. So ultimately I just try to stay away from people so that I can go do my stuff,
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do.
But go on to the Dave Sheridan official Instagram and check out those 2 Doofy campaign videos, only because I spent 2 days editing them.
They're really, I love when you're on that big penis thing on, what's it called?
It's the robotic penis. I don't know. It's like an electric bull, but they replaced it to be a penis.
Yeah. Alyssa must have loved that.
She wrote it. Yeah. She posted photos of it. We went down together. That was at the VIP party at Days of the Dead in Vegas. And people were riding it. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to go do a Doofy campaign thing where he's riding that because it was so silly. So Days of the Dead ended on Sunday, and we just walked down to the bar, and there was really no one in there during the day. And the manager just let us go and shoot and do it. And it was instant. I mean, look at the thing. How do you not want to?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's called instant production value. By the way, so young filmmakers out there, always, and yourself, your town, your area. When you see an old barn, when you see a creepy house, when you see a cool alley, make notes because you want to take advantage of natural production that saves you money. If you know where this is a really creepy car wash over here. Oh, here's the electric bull that's a giant penis now. That's over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to pass that up. That would have cost somebody $300,000 to either build or put together, But we got it for free, and they gave us drinks and shots. They were actually giving us drinks.
That's hilarious.
Down here. So, send me your short. I want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send you the trailer right after and let me know what you think. It's my first set I've ever worked on, and I'm really happy with it because we had a great cast and crew, and everyone really did do their work, and they just they're just very talented people. And, our DOP luckily was very experienced. So we shot with a really nice camera and really nice equipment, and it came out really crisp and clean. But I'll send you in and you let me know what you think. I'm excited. It should be done by the end of the year, and I'm going to submit it to film festivals for next year.
Because the end of the year is coming up very soon. So how long is the short? How long is it?
It's probably under 15 minutes or around 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Send me both. Send me the trailer now or the teaser, and then Yeah,
of course.
Cool.
But I'll let you go, Dave. You have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll keep in touch. And everybody in the live chat that's been watching, thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. I appreciate it. And go check out Dave on social media. All right, guys. Hope you all have a good night.
I appreciate everybody for coming out, and maybe next time we make a drinking game, and when Dave changed the subject. when Dave changes the subject, you have to guzzle the whole thing.
Exactly. All right, guys. Hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Take care,
All right.
guys.
I'm not
Bye.
moving. Where are you going?